All right. Hello, everybody. And welcome to the development stream that we've planned for June. My name is Necromaticon. I'm the programming lead for the project. And with us today, we have some lovely fellows. First of all, I would like to present to you Floris, the project lead.
Hello, hello.
All right. Next up, we also have MrTheMarkoman, also known as Mark.
Hello, everyone. I'll be making a nice activity for you today.
And last but not least, for now, we have Son of Numenor, also known as Sam.
Hello, everyone.
All right. Now that everyone has been presented, let's go through everyone's tasks for tonight. All right, let's start with Mark. What will you be making today, Mark?
Today, as I'm a programmer on the team for the most part, game developer at heart, and I will be making, or trying to make, a metal detecting minigame. And this will encompass multiple features, including visuals, sound, interactivity, all the bunch. It's going to be great fun.
Oh, definitely will. Thank you very much for that. All right, next up, Sam, what will you be working on today?
So I am a 3D modeler on the team, so my job largely is to optimize things. So today I'm going to be optimizing a few different models and putting the final textures on them, so you'll be able to see what they'll look like in game.
All right, perfect. And I will be doing some optimization for you. So that means taking a Lego model. Right here, you can see the radio station for the game. And I'll be making it game ready, at least from a mesh point of view. And then Sam will be able to finish it up. Floris is here purely through voice channel, but he'll still be a very delightful addition to us.
I hope so. I'm just chilling out here, so that's a nice role to have, I guess.
Mhm. All right, perfect. I believe that's everything. So feel free to put questions in the chat room, and we will try to answer them either through voice chat or through the stream chat. other than that, it will just be a pretty few relaxing hours, I hope.
Let's
All
get right
right.
into it.
That's correct. That's correct. All right, and of course, if you like what you see and would like to help us out, the links are in the description below. You can join our course if you have any sort of game experience and have the skills necessary for it. And we are delighted by everybody's help. Like, any help is useful for us.
I'm personally looking forward to new animators. So, because this metal detector activity, I'm just gonna programmably animate because we don't have the animations for it.
All right, perfect. So would someone like to go in depth on what they're doing right now?
I could give it a shot.
Yeah,
right
what's your plan currently? What's your idea right now?
Right now, I did a little prepping. We've got a lovely little shovel over here and a metal detector. And what's going to happen? We got this huge desert, and we're going to make it so you'll have to look for goodies, treasures. Oh, who knows what's inside? And this will be indicated to the player with either visuals or audio, ideally both. So from the get-go, I want this thing to start beeping. But for that, we're using Fmod, and I'm not too accustomed to Fmod just yet. So we got this little beep over here, and I got to figure out. So I got this. I think you should be able to see it. We got this noise that you should play on loop. And I was at the final stage of that. I have to just rebuild the banks. So I think if I go in code, I should be able to play it. So right now, I'm playing it just like you would normally play an MP3, but the Fmod overrides that currently. So, so to figure out how I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna go to a previous system I worked on, because that's let's see.
Every code is just reused old code anyways.
Yeah, that's a nice thing. The longer you work, the more you can look back on old stuff, and then it's like, it's one of my earlier works. I think I think I wrote here where it should play the sound normally when it hits the. Let's see.
So I think I'm going to try to answer a few questions that are popping up in the chat. Okay, no, never mind. The channel is doing that super well. I believe that's Floris is doing, correct?
Yeah, I'm answering some questions in the chat.
Thank you so much.
But I'll also bring up some things if there are interesting questions about what's happening on stream or things that would be nice to just talk about in general.
Okay, perfect. Then we won't get lost or leave out anything major.
Yeah.
Okay. So Mark, tell me a bit about Fmod.
Tell me about the thing. I barely worked with it. Well, you see,
okay, so
I found the line of code. So whenever, this method says pass ball. So whenever the ball is passed, very simple. The runtime manager will play one shot this event fx interactions volleyball hit. And I'm pretty sure if you look at Fmod, we'll see here that it's connected there. So fx interactions volleyball hit. So if we go in here, there it is, volleyball hit. Now this beep sound, I think I just put in the FX folder for ease. So I think I just have to modify that line and just change it to beep.
All right.
And the position can just be the position of what it's connected to, because right now it's connected to the metal detector. So.
All right, that's awesome. Let's go over to Sam real quick. What are you currently working on, Sam?
Right now, I am UV unwrapping the parts of the tent here. So the goal is to just make this so that I can bring it into Substance Painter and create the normal maps and ambient occlusion maps from the high poly model.
What are the
So-
normal maps and occlusion maps used for?
They are used to make things look pretty. So really quickly here, just a second. You can see here that on this model in particular, that the topology is just one edge, right? It's a single edge, and it's 90 degrees between those two faces. And essentially, what this does is it looks fake because in real life you won't see this. So we're used to rounded edges, things that catch light nicely. So for example, if we go over to the baking here, hold on. Oh, I'm in local. You can see that this is catching light right here along this edge, and it looks nicer. So what we want to do is take this look and replicate it onto the ones with sharp edges, because this takes a lot more geometry. So if we were to apply this, you can see here that we have quite a few more edges needed to make this rounded look. So the idea is that we can fake it onto the low poly geometry with something called normal maps. So that actually, I don't know if I have a good example of the normal map right now, but
I actually do. I'll send it to you. You could show it then.
okay.
Okay.
Oh yeah, perfect. Okay. Let me save that. All right. So you can see here that this over here on the left is the cactus without a normal map. So what we do is we strip it down to just being essentially a cylinder. So there's very few faces in here. And then what we do is we apply the normal map, which makes it appear as if all those bricks are separated and they're not all one mesh. So this is the same mesh as this one over here, but this one has the normal map applied. So it's faking all that detail, and it looks nice, right? It looks like the light is bouncing off of it properly. And then this one over here on the far right is going to be the normal map plus the ambient occlusion. So ambient occlusion is when light can't reach certain areas, and it looks darker. So it's a good way to see where cracks and crevices are, because that's where light can't reach. So we're used to seeing this in daily life, but we need to replicate it somehow in a video game. So we use another map called an AO map to get this kind of look. So it just helps enhance the normal map essentially. So we get a really nice look here at the end. So that's what I'm working toward on this tent here. So I'm taking the low poly and going to try to make it look as close to the high poly as possible, but make sure we're hitting those good optimization marks there.
All right. That was a very great explanation. Thank you very much for that.
I hope you guys wrote that down.
Yeah, that will be on the application for the 3D modelers.
You don't quote that back to me word for word. There's no way you're getting in. Just kidding.
We're only taking the best of the best, you know.
I want to see your dedication.
No pressure, of course. No pressure.
Exactly.
I got a question from the chat that might be interesting to answer. The
Alright.
question was, what was the motivation for making this game in the first place? And maybe you can also talk a bit about like why you're on a project and what you enjoy about the project and LEGO Island.
Oh, then go ahead. You're the project lead and the guy who started it all. So why don't you go ahead with the motivation?
Yeah, I can start first. So the project began kind of weirdly, actually. I want to just learn game development, and I was like, oh, Lego Island is such a cool game. Let's do something with that, because nothing has happened with it over such a long time. And then it basically just spiraled out of control, and a lot of people became interested in it, and yeah, indeed spiraled out of control. And now it's a very nice thing with very cool people who are also here. Maybe Necro, you want to talk about why you're here?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Necro.
So I've joined the project in 2019. Basically, I was within my studies and just randomly stumbled upon a video from, I believe it was Nick from Planet Ripple, who talked about Lego Island getting a remake. No, it wasn't Nick from Planet Ripple. It was that one guy who ported HD audio onto Lego Island 1.
Ah, yeah.
And basically, he talked about how there's this fan site called Project Island, which has a bunch of high quality audio from the original game. And basically, then I just learned that there was a fan sequel being made for the games. And since I grew up with mostly Lego Island 2, but also Lego Island 1, and then later on Island Extreme Stunts, I decided to hit them up. Basically, I'm an electrical engineer right now, or at least studying to be one. So I knew a bit of programming. And I sent in my application where I wrote a custom game engine in Java using OpenGL. And that's basically how I got in. And yeah, I'm just very passionate about overall the game development side of things. And also very much passionate about Lego in general. Yeah, that's pretty much how I joined and am still here.
Very nice.
I've just been informed that the guy who made the HD audio was called Matt KC. Thank you very much for enlightening me to this project. Sam, would you like to go next?
Sure. So, I actually learned about the project through my brother because he was like, "Hey, they're remaking Lego Island, and it's just a volunteer-based project." And he's like, "You should apply because you know 3D modeling." And I was like, I don't know if they really want me. Like, they clearly know what they're doing, and I had never done game modeling before. And after a few I don't know, probably a few weeks of him saying, "You should just apply, just apply," I decided to apply. Plus, I loved the original Lego Island games. It was actually one of the very first games I remember playing on a really old, terrible PC that we had. And so I was like, yeah, it held a special place in my heart. So I decided to apply, and they accepted me. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here, I don't think. Um, and I basically have learned everything about game modeling from these guys. Just asking a bunch of questions, trying stuff out, and yeah. So that's been my experience and how I ended up here.
All right. Mark, what about you? How are you here? Why are you here?
How did I get here? Well, from the get-go, from a young age, I was already interested in developing games. I think my biggest inspiration was Mario at the time. And of course, I also grew up with the Lego games, starting from Lego Island 2 and Lego Racers. So I hold those dear to my heart. One time when I was just, I don't know, feeling nostalgic, I was looking up Lego Island 2 videos, and then I found Project Island, and I was like, oh wow. Immediately binged all the videos, of course. First it was just joining the public server, and I was like, oh, look at this thing I made in Tower Unite and whatever. And then eventually I applied with my game development experience. I felt pretty confident because I got a bachelor in game development. So, but I like programming the most, so that's what I applied for. And yeah, now I'm here.
So one question that got asked in the chat that I think we could also answer is if we are all adult fans of LEGO. Would you guys consider yourselves adult fans of LEGO?
Yeah.
I would say for me, definitely. I still build with my brothers, and like the last big thing we built was the Titanic. That was fun. That was just a few, maybe 2 months ago. So yeah, I would say
Did you guys already build the Millennium Falcon?
yes. Actually, it's right behind me. But yeah.
All right, Mark, what about you? Are you an adult fan of LEGO?
Sure thing. Every now and then I like to buy some Lego. Like I don't buy Lego often, but when I do, it's something big. Like recently or not too long ago, I bought the Mansion, the Sam Sinister one. I think most people are familiar with that one. Love the reference that it had. And I don't know, but just building Lego is really relaxing. I tend to get stressed a lot, so like just sitting there, like putting bricks together, like the satisfying noise it makes and stuff. I don't know. It has kind of a zen. It gives a zen feeling, you know.
So I myself am an adult fan of LEGO. I admit I am one of you. I like to dabble a lot in just getting eBay sales, meaning I scour eBay and look for like insane deals when it comes to Lego. Just today, I found a really good Lego Minecraft deal where a single minifigure is paying for the entire lot, just like from its rarity. I also recently started collecting the entire Rock Raiders lineup, and I'm just short of the what's it called again? The Rapid Rider. After that's complete, I will have the entire Rock Raiders set line from, I believe, 1999. Yeah, 1999. And even without just owning Lego, I feel like just being passionate about any Lego legacy is already reason enough to be considered an adult fan of Lego. What about you, Floris? Do you indulge in Lego from time to time?
Yeah, I do. I really like it how it like spices up my room for sure. And I like it. Don't buy a lot of new sets, but I definitely enjoy building Lego and doing all kinds of stuff with it. I think like other people on the team have like some sort of connection to either the games or to Lego or just to games in general as well. Yeah. It was funny. I spoke to a friend today, and he was like, "Yeah, actually, as a kid, I didn't really care about Lego." So that's not so funny too. Some people have it totally different, but I think everyone on here loves it and still enjoys it to this day.
What I really like about Lego is how it's really for everyone. Like there's no gender, there's no age requirement. Just anyone can jump in and play.
Yeah, for sure. And there's like so many different sets. Like you could buy like huge one or only buy minifigures. So much ways to play and enjoy Lego.
I personally dabbled a lot in recreating Legoland in Lego, basically analyzing the animations from the games of the items being built or like the rides being built, and then just recreating them in Stat.io and then buying the pieces of Bricklink. That worked out quite well so far. If you'd like to see them, you can join our Discord, and there's the mocks channel where all of my builds are showcased as well.
Yeah, cool.
Like recreating the entirety, doesn't that get expensive?
Oh, it sure does. That's a good thing about being an adult fan of Lego. You have disposable income.
Oh yeah, it's actually better for adults than for kids. At least
In
if
a-
you don't have rich parents, that is.
Yeah, in a sense it is. So I still didn't get to show off what I've been working on so far. Actually, let me get back to that. I'll present it in 10 minutes. I'm currently not ready.
That's fine. No rush. It's only our first stream, right?
Yeah, I'm very nervous about all of this. And I'm very excited to see that the activity is very nice, and everyone's super everyone's super nice to us and asking questions, and I really feel welcomed by the community like that.
Mm-hmm. I wish I could read more, but like talking and like doing your own thing and then conversing, and it's quite overwhelming for someone who never streams.
Yeah, it's something to get used to, but I think we will get better if we do this more often. If the reception is obviously being nice.
Guys, please like us, please. Well, I'd say like hiccups are bound to happen. It's like a growing process, and I really, from a personal perspective, I think it's really nice the streaming in itself. That the fans also get a taste of behind the scenes that they don't usually get from developers. So
It's very live as well.
hmm.
We're here in the flesh.
Well, one scary thing though is when people are watching and you're doing something, and then like, you know, if you make mistakes, everyone's gonna see it. Like I just copied something from my very first thing that I made that I worked on. It was the plant switching, and back then I was still pretty new to Unity, and something I learned is that you should never or try to use get component at the least amount possible. So rather than doing get component every time you interact with something, like in this case, if I interact with the metal detector, you shouldn't do get component every time. You should save it once when the script starts, and then refer to that. So I'm gonna add start back again. So here I copied from switch plant with like get component interactable, because I want to interact with it. Of course, you want to hold the metal detector. So we're gonna create a private interactable. And then rather than getting the component here, you just do it at the start. And then when I interact, I can check like, is the detector enabled?
Will there be a Bologna Roni trading card somewhere on the beach waiting to be dug up? I think we're not going to spoil that one. That's a nice question.
Oh yeah.
Counter question: Will it? Should it have a massive forehead?
Massive forehead.
Yeah. In Lego Island too, you know, like there's like this painting in Pepper's house with like his the Bologna Roni on it, and it's like this massive forehead. I don't know why they did that.
All right. I think I'm ready to show what I've been working on so far.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah. Just as giving our little guy behind the screen some time to react. All right. So what I've been working on is getting our radio station to be optimized correctly. Oh, our guy behind the chair is writing me. Maybe I'm not on stream. Okay. See, we're good to go. Okay,
Yeah.
so basically, this model has been designed by our lovely Japosap, our 3D designer. And basically, the builders have one specific task when building these models, and that's to keep them modular. If you guys see right here in the front, you'll see that there's a single wall segment indicated by this one. And then there's another similar wall segment indicated by these pieces right here. So basically, what I'm going to do is I optimize single modules, and then we're just going to combine them, like place them together to create the entire object right here. Actually, this radio station could already be spotted in one of our development updates, number 4 to be exact. Hit hit us up on our Discord if you can spot it. But yeah, basically, what I'm doing right now is I'm making the game ready. The first step in that I've just completed, and that's replacing every single brick from the model with bricks from our own brick library. So there's a difference between these two models. I can actually just compare the two. So the one on the left is from our own brick library, while the one on the right is from a program called Mechabricks. That's basically a program that we use to convert our builds. The reason we use such a program is so that we can get the brick placement just right. Our builders, they build the objects in their preferred LEGO CAD program. Some use Stud.io, some use LEGO Digital Designer. None use Mechabricks because the navigation there is horrible. But basically, our brick library uses the object data from Mechabricks. This means that every object has to go through Mechabricks, but afterwards we get the exact position data. So what we then can do is just say, okay, the location of this object, replace it, like take this object right here and then replace it with one from our brick library over here. And then you just click complete replacement, then it disappears, and then if you reappear, it's basically replaced with the one from the brick library that we have. All the pieces I've already imported beforehand, so that it's way easier. But that's basically how that works. And yeah, afterwards, what will happen is I'll create the models, like combining them. And then we will have an entire radio station be complete and then can be passed over to Sam, who does the mapping, the stuff that he's shown before already. What are you currently working on, Sam? How's it going?
Pretty good. Just cleaning up a model here really quickly so I can get a slightly cleaner map. But right now, what I've been doing is just unwrapping everything. So you can see here that this is the general outline of the map for each piece over here in the editor. But this isn't the final pack because all of this will be one object. So all of these separate sections will all be packed together into one map. But I just do it by parts, so it's not quite so overwhelming. So right now, I'm just working on this piece, making sure it's ready to go for unwrapping. And then here in about 10 seconds, I'll start unwrapping it. So.
Actually considered rebuilding one of the models that we have in the game, like for my personal collection. Right now, I'm working on rebuilding the tent. One of our modelers actually, one of our 3D designers specifically makes, or like specifically tries to make he specifically tries to make the builds buildable in real life. This means that color accuracy is very important to him. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, but basically, I'm currently trying to rebuild the tents that you've seen in the gameplay preview from a few weeks back.
If you want, I have some more questions from the chat. And by the way, there's one message. Do you guys have built physical models of some of the things you see in game? There are some models I really would like to have in real life. The bricks aren't so expensive. But I don't know if any of our designers actually like build the stuff physically before they digitally transfer stuff. Maybe for smaller builds, but all right, let's see. Do any of you have specific memories from classic LEGO games which aren't from the LEGO Island series?
Lego memories?
Yeah, from the games. So the classic games, but not LEGO Island. I think you mentioned LEGO Racers before.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, Lego Racers. That's
Oh yeah, that's a game, I guess.
I really like LEGO Racers as well. And LEGO Loco, but I already spoiled that in the chat. Like,
oh
I,
yeah.
I don't know
You know-
why, but LEGO Loco, it was so fun.
Yeah, Lego Loco. I have this thing where I go back to the old games every now and then, like like check what makes them special, what was fun about it, was not. And when you break Lego Loco down, it's just like watching the characters walk about and like, oh, this if I place these things down, I get this combination. Like there's those two red houses. When you put them next to each other, you get like this big house. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it was like the definition for sandbox at the time. Like there was not really an end goal.
Yeah, and everything made like nice sounds as well. You could click things and pick up characters. I mean, those kinds of things is what you just did, and it was just nice.
You could like spam like on like there's like this little girl character. It's like
Yeah, exactly.
and then they change the sound, and then yeah, I think they actually get happy the more you click on them, if I remember correctly.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
It would also make like the Loch Ness lake. I think if you put a few down,
Oh yeah.
unless I think it was the lakes at least. Yeah, it must be the lake. Something gave a rainbow, but I think there was the fountains or something.
Yeah, I think if you put 4 fountains next to each other.
Yeah, that's super cool. As well as like I remember changing like my system time because you had some special Halloween or Christmas theme things.
Yeah, depending on the time of the year, like some items would change. And I think once you've really seen everything, there's always still the postcards. Like you could send like postcards to like the characters, and then they would send one back. And you'd make like one of those cards, and it looked like not that good, and then they'd send back a really fancy one. It's like, oh my god, they're talking to me. Good times. I remember with a friend who I think is also in the chat, we tried to connect our cities together, with like the train system. But I think back then we didn't know how LAN servers worked, so we never got it to work.
I always want to do this as well, but I don't think I managed it. Also changed to snowy when it was winter. Yeah, I think there was like a winter map indeed as well that you could pick.
I remember there also being very strange backgrounds. I could choose the backgrounds.
Yeah, like the moon as well, I remember.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make a moon base now. Also, glancing over the chat, I noticed there's a bot invasion.
Yeah, I'm dealing with it as we go, but
I didn't know this was TF2.
the Brickster bot.
Oh. Direction.
So one person in the chat has a very interesting suggestion regarding our optimization pipeline. I think Sam is the most qualified to answer that. This person is saying, couldn't you guys save a lot of texture space using weighted normals plus detail normals instead of baking everything?
We might be able to, but that is a good question though. I'd have to experiment with it. There was a reason that I didn't do it early on, but I don't remember the reason for it, to be honest.
Don't you need like vertices for that? To
Well,
make the weighted normals?
you don't strictly need them, but there's a lot of math that goes into it if you choose not to. At least in my experience, and I don't, like I said, I did not do game development before this. So I was used to just throwing on more vertices to make it look better. But when you do like a weighted normal shader, you're running a whole bunch of extra calculations needed for it, which can then kind of like it saves you space, but it doesn't necessarily save you speed, or it doesn't give you more speed. So unless, like I said, there's something that you guys know more about than I do, this is just my experience with it. The best way I can think about it is in Blender, there is a node called the bevel node if you're working with materials. And it essentially cheats by making it appear as if an edge is rounded despite that edge not being rounded. But it only does it in the shader. The thing about the bevel node is that if you use it enough, you'll notice a pretty dramatic increase in render times. And that's in like a static render. So I'm not sure how you would go about that real time. It'd be interesting test though.
Cool. So should we do one more question from the chat?
Oh,
There
yes,
was
please.
one.
As
One was
many as
asked
possible.
as many as possible. One was asked a bit ago, but I think it's still cool. What has been the most rewarding part of making this game so far? Yeah, we can just go through it. Maybe Necro starts again. If you,
Let's see.
unless you need time to think, then I can just.
I would like to think a bit more.
Then I can just hold the phone for a second.
Yeah, hold the line.
Yeah, but what I like a lot is seeing kind of how it builds such a community in fans as well as developers. Because, like, personally, I never intended it to be such a big thing, but I'm so glad that it did, because I think so many people have a connection to Lego Islands, and it's really cool to see how that all comes together in this game and then the people enjoying also watching this. So, yeah, I think that's one of the most rewarding parts. As well, seeing Pepper just jump around and how it all looks and comes together.
He's back alive again.
Yeah. Exactly.
In the very
I've got
first
one.
video. You know, like that video that we posted where Pepper's just in the water.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, he doesn't have an island to skate all over. It's like, yeah. and now we're making it again.
Yeah.
So for me, the most rewarding bit of making this game so far has definitely been interacting with all the cool people who used to play Lego Island back in the day. And not only Lego Island, but the Lego games in general. I'm usually the person who like gives out first tasks. So I like to like have full-on conversations with everyone and just like be like, hey, what brought you to this place? And I just really like hearing the responses of everyone. Everyone's so different and unique in their own way, and it's just awesome getting to know so many people and then also be able to just like talk to them. Definitely also the fans. I mean, without you guys, this game would be possible. You guys are motivating us to make this thing a reality after all.
Thanks. You not wasting time, you're testing the game. Yeah. It's a very good excuse as well, like, I'm testing. When you're just running around.
Yeah, it's very easy to just get lost in everything when you're playing the game. Like just running around already feels very much like a full-on game, and it's criminally underrated.
It's odd. I have like this standard when making video games when it's like, oh, we got to make it the best thing possible. We got to like fill it up and make it look nice and make it play nice. And then when you look at like at the old games, like you look at Lego Island 2, for instance, and you break it apart, and it's like, oh, actually, you just walk around for the most part. Fun fact: the pizza throwing is actually in game, like when you're in third person, never really used after the first time you defeat those Brickster bots. Because the second time you have to use a radio, remember?
Yeah.
I think that's pretty funny.
Oh, they kind of made. We're talking about Lego Island 2 here, right?
Yes.
Yeah, basically a lot of one-off mechanics in these sort of games.
Right. Let's see.
All right. How about we give some progress update on what our task is, or like how our tasks are going, just to talk a bit about that. Let's go with the same. Yeah, Mark, please start.
Well, I'm currently just make it so when you interact with the metal detector, it will follow Pepper's hand. First, I tried to program it in a way like just find the object, but which is like name based. So if this changed, it no longer works. So I just instead, I think I went an easier way out and just made it something you can just manually set yourself in the script. So right now I set it to MR hand, and now it's very simple. Well, I mean, I say simple, but so I just say the transform of it. How do I explain this? It does indeed what I want. When you interact with it, it will connect to Pepper. But when you do that, well, it never goes in Pepper's hand, so it just floats in front of it because it is connected now, but not. Yeah. So I gotta make sure it the position first changes to the hand, and then it attaches to the hand. Rather than attaching to the hand right away when it's still like far away from Pepper, because the interacting can be done from far away. So I think if I just say transform dot, if I just set the position the same as the hand, surely that will only bring great things.
What is Sam doing right now?
Currently cleaning up the UV maps on here. So right now, if you don't rename the UV maps and get rid of all the extra ones, since we're combining from mecha bricks, like that's usually our base, we end up getting a whole bunch of UV maps that we don't want. So I just have one that is created in the way I want it, and I just rename that one to whatever. It's by default UV map, so that's what I just continue to do. Now when I combine them all, my map should be good, except I forgot one of them. Let's see, that one. So now when they all go together, we should have all the pieces. Yep, here we go. So now this is a partially done one so that I can export it and go ahead and use it in Substance. So the reason I do it partially is because if you do the entire map, but you have duplicate UVs. So for example, the pole. This whole sequence right here, all these pieces, are identical to what would be on the other side. So if we go here, you can see they're identical here. So I don't really want to bake this twice because sometimes you'll have errors where it bakes over itself and you end up getting really weird looking things that you then have to go fix. So if there's a piece that I know I'm going to be duplicating or that's going to be identical, I just go ahead and change that over to so it's just a single object. So you'll see, it'll make more sense when I'm done here. So this guy should be ready to go.
As for me, I'm currently working on the deck that can be seen on the top of the radio station. So if we look right here, we can see that there's this deck with the little fence posts on top. And basically, I'm optimizing every single brick right now. I've just finished this post, and since there will be a fence running through that, or like a little cylinder running through that, no one will be able to see that there's no hole in between that. And therefore, I've just closed that up. This saves some triangles when the thing is rendered inside of the game. And after I'm done with this module, which I am pretty much now, I can then also copy that over to this side right here to essentially make this one as well. And since the top of these things is always the same, I can just link the objects. And now I've replaced these two objects in orange with the one in yellow. Same I can do with the bottom brick. So I can just select these two. You can see right here that these guys, the 1x1 bricks, still have a stud on top. And then I can just link the object, and then now everything is exactly the same as this one. But I still have to do the snot bricks right here and right here. Just basically exactly the same as this one, but since it's a different piece, I still have to do it again.
Super dope. Are these streams going to be a regular thing? Is asked by Duncan Doris in the chat.
It's a very good question.
Very good question.
I think the better question is, are we having fun?
Having a good time.
I'm enjoying it so far.
Yeah, me
this is
too.
the first time we're doing it, and yeah, I think if everyone likes viewing it and doing it as well, I think they might just be regular.
Yeah,
I think it's
so
just,
too.
I think it's a cool way to show like what actually happens behind the screens, because like we have the update videos which show like some fancy things that we've been working on, but there are a lot of struggle and testing and changing things comes with that. And yeah, getting to see that and really an inside view of things is pretty cool.
And one more member of our team just joined. Say hello to Zanthera, a 3D modeler on our team.
Hello.
Hey,
Hello.
Zan.
I'm saying hello to myself.
Yeah, hello, hi.
Hello.
So Zanthera actually just basically finished working on a very cool thing, which is our newest minifigure model. So far in the game, we are using a very unoptimized model straight out of Mecha Bricks, which we had in there for a while now. And Zanthera is basically split the try count in quarters, but still making the model more detailed than it used to be.
It's a very good model.
Yeah.
In fairness, the old minifig model was intended for bendy animation, and we're not doing that. So that was a great deal of saving just in itself.
Yeah, actually, that's a good question for the chat. I would like to know. Do you guys prefer the bendy animation of Lego Island 2, for example, or more of the squash and stretch animation that Lego Island 1 did? Not squash and stretch, sorry. Scaling and repositioning of the minifigure. Which one did you prefer, Lego Island 1 or Lego Island 2 for animation?
I personally still call that squash and stretch, really. It's just a 3D way of doing it.
Yeah, the problem with squash and stretch would be what Lego Island 2 did as well, because it's deforming the object. Or am I being wrong there with my terminology?
I think really the in Lego Island 2 and Extreme Stunts, they didn't really do the very exaggerated stretching that they did. Like when Nubby comes out from under the car in Lego Island, he like stretches his arm right out to reach up to the car and then pull himself up. So they never sort of did that sort of thing with like Lego Island 2 or Island Extreme Stunts. So I would call that squash and stretch, and I'd just call the other two just bendy animation, personally.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference is like, for example, bending at the knee, because like humans would do that usually. But Lego Island 1 was just like, yeah, we're gonna stretch this character out of the car, which was fun, but it's different vibe.
I myself personally prefer the simple stop motion style that, well, not stop motion style, but the Lego Island 1 style. It had a lot more character and worked within the boundaries of the Lego models, which, so to me, I think that the bendy animation feels more like it's motion captured or something, because the modelers are trying so hard to make the Lego minifigure fit normal human proportions and normal human articulation.
Yeah, and I think what Lego Island 1 kind of tries to do, and some like brick films as well, is kind of exaggerate certain movements. For example, if you don't have knees, you still have to convince kind of, okay, this is the physics I'm using to jump up. So I think there's like interesting paths around kind of the limitations that are set by, oh, this is plastic, it can't really bend easily.
Mm.
I also think it's
version
more.
I've seen-
Oh, sorry.
No, go you go.
Oh, well, I think it also is more like personality in general when you have these like stop motiony Lego animations, because like every studio can do like bendy animations, you know. It's what you also see a lot nowadays, or most of it nowadays.
You mean like for every animation project, essentially?
Yeah, you don't really see that anymore.
I really
Not the same-
wonder who made the who called the shots on those things, because to me it seems like one of those decisions that the animators had to make. Oh, no, I see a very good question in the chat right now.
Go for it.
Yeah. Are there features that you guys would love to implement, but they are hopelessly out of scope or break the theme?
Ooh. I know one, or at least I don't think it's a feature that we really like hard took a deep dive in, but someone mentioned multiplayer before. And I think like multiplayer Lego Island could be a really cool thing, but it's something that we've said like, okay, that's going to change so much things for us. But I think still it would be really cool.
Yeah, I completely agree on that. Lego Island, to me at least, has always like this is more of a thing of it's a bit out of theme for me. Lego Island has always been like this single player experience where you interact with the environment. And I feel like it wouldn't really fit if it was a multiplayer game.
Yeah, I feel it could be one. Like example, if you would just have all the Lego Island 1 characters playable and just people messing the world up, it might be fun, but it's a really different game.
Fly around as Polly and attack the player.
Animal attacks.
My out of scope thing would be modeled bevels on every piece.
So could you elaborate on that? Because I don't think everyone's familiar with the bevel term and what it entails for Lego specifically.
Well, it's like what Sun said earlier. With the edges of Lego models, they're never like razor sharp, because you would actually cut yourself if they were proper 90 degrees like you see with 3D model. You would literally cut yourself, because it's like a knife pretty much, and so everything's got rounded corners, and that tiny little catch of light, you will see it sometimes very obvious and sometimes very minor, like the underside of pieces, for example. They've got very, very tiny little bevels, and what looks like a completely flat right angle to just to the naked eye, if you were to look at that with a magnifying glass, you would see a tiny little glint of light where there is a very small bevel. We're talking like 0.01 millimeters. It's like super tiny. I've actually measured it because I'm modeling higher poly pieces for my own projects, and yeah, it's a pain to make them. So I'm kind of glad that for this we have things like Brickling Studio to get models from, because it takes a lot of time. I have had to make a few custom pieces for us because the other models weren't quite up to snuff. So that was fun to do. But yeah, doing that for every single piece is extremely taxing, and it's better left if you're doing things that can be like rendered, like if you're making still renders, or you're doing like a like a FMV like the old games had to at the start of their thing, because that's something I'm doing. You'd be able to do it there because obviously you can just leave it to render overnight or however long to render out a whole sequence. But for game, it has to all be real time. It technically is possible these days, but you do have to have quite a powerful graphics card for it to be possible. And since we want this game to be sort of very what's the word, like
Accessible.
Accessible.
accessible, that's the one. Yeah, we want it to be very accessible, so we're optimizing it for looks and performance. And yeah, so that's why we're not doing physically modeled bevels. We're doing the normal mapped ones, which give the look but don't take up nearly as much performance as actually having it physically there.
Yeah, I think right now on the screen it's a cool look at a bit of what it could look like, or what it does look like in our game.
Yeah, so this is what I was talking about earlier, like the difference between a flat shaded model with nothing, like no details, no bevels, anything, and then what the normal map and ambient occlusion maps do. So you can see actually right now there's a few errors that I'm gonna have to go fix. But it's a good look to see, okay, is it looking all right in general? And I think it does. So in comparison, let's see. If I were to turn off the normal map and the ambient occlusion map, this is what it looks like right now, which is just a generic white looking surface here. But then if you add those back on, so you can see here that actually this is a good way of doing this. I'll zoom in here because I don't think you guys can see it very well. But it adds in the lines here, so we can see that it's actually catching the light how the bricks on this surface should. But it's a little bit, it doesn't stand out very well. How about that? So what we do to add to that is the ambient occlusion map. So you can see here, once I actually click this, we get just this extra bit of depth in there. And so you can see the parts just a little bit better, and it looks especially good underneath on the anti-studs here. So yeah, like all this detail right here along the edge, this is all normal mapped. So it's not really there. It's actually just a completely flat plane, but it looks like there are pieces. So that's what we do to make them look nice.
And another one. I don't think there's anything I would like to have in the game that is just out of scope. To me, it seems like it's a very nice balance of all three games right now, or at least what the plan for the game currently is. And I'm very happy with that. We're doing a fantastic job, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to answer a question someone asked earlier about whether or not we just run around in the test builds, absolutely, because that is just fun, and I love doing that. I will just sometimes, whenever we do a new one, I'll just like play it for half an hour, just literally just running around, even though it might not be a lot added, or it might not have any new features. It is just fun sometimes, just like how it's fun to like go back and play the original games just for a little bit. Sort of gives you the same that same feeling, but sort of a little nicer to look at with nicer quality models and lighting and such.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I have one more question that got asked a little ago, which is not directly linked to the game, but interesting. Are you guys fans of the newest original LEGO IPs, such as Ninjago or Monkie Kid? Or maybe things like Hidden Side got discussed as well?
Are we fans
I-
of that, did you say?
Yeah, or yeah, if you like them in general.
Me personally, no. I like older stuff, or like again old game related builds. I've never really been able to get on with sort of the newer themes. So
You're
it's like
into the
that's why,
classics.
yeah, that's why working on something like this is really fun. You get to sort of explore updating aspects of the older games, like with the Island Racer, making it so that it can actually turn. Was fun, and keeping the car build itself pretty much identical to the original Island Racer set was nice. So yes, it's more like going. It's nice to do a bit of uh, updating of things that we've seen before, and it's newer sets. I don't know. They just don't really feel the same to me anymore. To be honest, it's like they kind of miss that classic charm that older sets just seem to have more of.
Just for like reference so that everyone is aware, the Island Racer refers to dev update number 4, where we've shown a car which was in the original LEGO Island 2, and we've redesigned it so that the wheels could actually turn.
I mean, hopefully they'd have seen the video.
If
better
not,
watch
you're on
it.
the right YouTube channel. You
Yeah, I
can
was
check it
gonna
out.
say. Hop on over there.
Oh, crikey, the channel's got 3.32 thousand subscribers. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, it's now up to 3.33 on my screen.
All right. Have you guys heard of Raid Shadow Legends?
No.
Oh, yeah, it's 3.33 for me as well. That means we just got some more subscribers because I just refreshed it from 3.32 to 3.33.
If you're one of the new subscribers, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Yes.
Yes, Queen. All right.
Oh, and also for new viewers, we've just made the chat only for subscribers because there are some little bots in. If you subscribe now, you should have access to the chat as well in a little bit if you're not able to type right now.
This is not because we want subscribers. This is to avoid the bots.
Yeah. And otherwise, if you have questions in the meantime, you can also ask them on the Discord, and we can also handle those.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Then the bot suddenly subscribes.
Yeah. Or they join the Discord.
Why have you blocked me? I'm a legitimate person.
No, we just hope the bots don't subscribe.
Oh no, not bot subscribers.
A little higher.
Okay, I would maybe like to talk a bit more about what the radio station would be like in the final game. If that's something that's allowed. I think yes.
Yeah, sure.
So, if you guys haven't played the super awesome LEGO Island 2, there's a certain radio host there that hasn't been seen in LEGO Island 1. They called him DJ Jacket in LEGO Island 2. I believe in the first one it was just LEGO Radio Guy. Am I right with that, Zanthera?
Can't remember, but I believe the DJ Jacket name only appeared in Island 2 and Extreme Stunts.
Um, basically, this was sort of the look of the radio station in Lego Island 2. DJ Jacket wasn't super important to the story. He basically received a pizza and gave Pepper a radio station, or like a jukebox, so that he can
save the islanders.
Gave a radio
yeah.
station. Yeah, have a whole radio station.
Yeah, the entire thing. Just take it, whatever. And basically, in the game right now in Port Pizza, we'll have this little radio station over here. Originally, the text right here would have read LEGO because that's the name of the radio station for in the Lego Island universe. But we've asked, but we aren't sure yet if Lego would approve of that, because if you know, LEGO spells still Lego. So we're waiting an answer on that, and if that's the case, we will definitely change the signage to be appropriate. In the game itself, you'll find DJ Jacket in this location. It will be placed in the mountainous region of the game. And there will be a giant radio station tower next to it that you'll be able to climb as well. Yeah, that's about it. It'll be a chill location. So a lot of jumping to it.
Very well. Very well.
For anyone who's not super familiar with what our plan for the game currently is, we are working on a demo right now. We are setting it on a different island than Lego Island. The island is called Port Pizza. And basically, the reason they are there, well, no, rather to say the reason we are making that island instead of Lego Island immediately is so that we can have an opportunity to figure out what we want to do with the game and to experiment with mechanics without actually touching the main island. Yeah, so that will basically be a place where we'll show off what our plan was, and then we'll get some feedback and see what can be improved for the main game. Have I forgotten anything or or I've said anything wrong? Maybe I could have said something wrong, honestly.
You're fine.
It was all wrong, Necro.
Okay.
All of it.
No, not again. Not again.
You gotta do it all over again, buddy.
So if you guys like what you're seeing right now on stream, feel free to apply to us. We are looking for everyone who is somehow involved in game making. This includes 3D modeling, animating, making Lego models as well, programming, music making as well, sound effects. Just click the link in the description below and write us an application form with a few of your examples. We'll definitely take a look at that and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Have I forgotten any role? Oh, yeah, right. Texture artists, of course. And writing.
A lot of folks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if one
definitely.
of you wants to come on and figure out how to do weighted normals. So right now I've essentially completed the maps here, and I'm going to bring them in to Blender to check it out again to make sure, because it looks fine in substance, but sometimes you can find a lot more errors in Blender. So this is usually my final check here. So what I kind of do is just set up a basic just a basic node setup here so that I can see what the material looks like. So
So, Floris, a few people have been asking about Lorin Nelson, the original composer for Lego Island 1. What was it like working with him for a few of the tracks in our game?
Yeah, it was really cool. Because originally we came into touch because I was asking people about how the original Lego Island came to be, and the high quality tracks of the original game that are on our website. But he was like very interested in the project and super enthusiastic to help out. So yeah, that was really cool.
Was Lorin Nelson in Lego Island 2 as well?
No, I think he only worked on the first one, as well as like some of the planned like spin-offs. And there was like I think he posted on his YouTube channel a TV pilot. He called it Lego Island Ad on his channel, but I think it was incorrect. But he didn't return for the other ones, unfortunately. But yeah, he made some really cool tracks for the first one.
There's currently even a project going on in trying to find the lost, what's it called? The lost samples from
Yeah.
Lego Island 1.
Yes.
Have you been actively following that one by any chance?
Yeah, I kept an eye on it. It's a really cool initiative where people are trying to like track down which samplers were used, which synthesizers were used, and through that even recreating some of the tracks. There was one of the hospital track which was like quite accurate and really well done, because it's almost like the best way to get almost the full quality of a track, even though the original tapes might be lost or drowned or whatever happened to them.
Drowned. Tell me a bit about that. What happened there? I don't think many people are familiar with that story, and it's a doozy.
Yeah, it's a fun story.
Who lives in a
Yeah.
houseboat under the sea? The
Lego
Lego
Island
Island
tapes.
The Lego Island tapes.
Yeah, so back in the days, there weren't really very good archives of the radio tracks used. Mindscape also went defunct, so if they had it, it probably got lost somewhere. But Lorin kept some of the tapes, and the ones on the website were also just personal transfers or demos to people, I believe. But Lorin lived in a very nice houseboat. I hope it was very nice, or I hope it was not very nice because it sank. But the music tapes were in there when it went down, unfortunately.
Good thing is Lorin survived.
For sure, yeah.
Good thing Lorin survived?
Yeah,
or
the good
Lorin's
thing.
copies?
No, Lorin himself.
Good thing he survived. Oh, well, yeah, I'd hope so. It's a good thing.
Did he survive?
He wasn't there. I think he wasn't there. He wasn't there when it happened. I believe I believe he said he was away when it sank. Unfortunately.
What a bummer.
Okay, no, wait.
I'm
I
back
didn't mean
in your house is at the bottom of the
I didn't
sea.
mean I didn't mean unfortunately that he was away when his house sank. I mean, unfortunately, his house sank while he was
Yeah.
away. It's a good thing. It's a good thing he was away when it sank.
It's better if it didn't sink.
There's actually been quite a lot of progress made on finding more samples. There's been loads found from the song that plays over the intro FMV.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
What else? Someone found the guitar noise that came from this in the information center, and it's sampled from one of the other tracks. And it's crazy how they found it. I have no idea how they managed to do it, because it's like a half a second clip that's pitched up quite a lot. And it's amazing what the people working on those recreations doing. I like the hospital one as well. I think the hospital theme was done with only one synth, and so they were able to just get all of the instruments from that one synth and recreate it virtually the same. The only thing I believe they couldn't do quite right was some of the percussion because of the audio quality of Lego Island was cut down to only 11,025 hertz, which is really low quality. That's a quarter of like a normal CD quality thing, and so all of the high frequency instruments are pretty much erased, and there's only very mild traces of them that you can just about hear. And so I think what the guy did who remade the hospital thing, he managed to just about hear what those higher pitch like percussion instruments were, and he managed to reuse the correct ones because to me it sounds absolutely spot on. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's really impressive to get so much from quite limited information.
I think it's a lot. It also has a lot to do with artistic interpretation of all these things, because obviously everyone takes artistic liberties.
Yeah, maybe this is a good segue into one question of the chat. How much of the game is going to feel new or is going to be new versus recreating the look and feel of the old games?
Ooh.
Because I think like one of our main influences are like the classic feels, for example, for like the buildings. Even though they might look like more detailed than they did before, all the themes, all the stories, all the characters are like very interesting to us.
So one of the things that I feel was best with Lego Island was obviously the characters, because back then or like just the character of the game as a whole, because they were obviously technically limited, else they would have made a better game, or like better from a gameplay point of view. And also like detail wise, they would have not stuck to super simple builds. And I think one of the main things that we want to achieve is create the same feel that Lego Island 1 had for us, while also being a bit more modern with everything that can be modern, meaning graphics, and also with the buildings as well, in a certain way.
Music quality.
Oh yeah, that too as well. No more high cutting.
Yeah, but I think that's quite accurate. And like things like the writing style of Lego Islands, plus our own new flavors. I think these kind of things make it, because it is a new thing, but it's still quite nostalgic to see all of these old things, these cool old characters and the builds that remind you of your old sets. And I really like that.
I also think that one of the like biggest challenges that we face is to have like juggling the expectations for the game as well, because of course every single individual has a different idea of how the game is supposed to be like, and even within our development team we have differences in terms of how it's supposed to be like, or how everyone feels it's supposed to be like. So we are really trying hard to make it as satisfying or like a satisfying outcome for everyone. Yeah, I don't think I have anything more to say with that.
Yeah, that's okay. I think a lot comes down to like iteration as well, because things normally they just don't go perfect on the first try, but you keep developing it with feedback from others, or just continuing to make it and find the right way for like whether it's a build or a whole feature. It's
Yeah.
just a process of how things roll on.
Yeah, this is basically the reason why we are trying to make a demo island first and foremost before we jump into making the main island. because obviously there's a lot of like ideas going around with how the main island is supposed to look like, and we first want to nail down the gameplay to make that one fun, and afterwards mold the island around that.
Yeah.
Because even though it is a Lego Island game, the primary target is to make it a game.
Yeah. Maybe I have a question, bit of a deep cut. But what are some things you like struggle on while working on the project, or things that might not be so obvious but are quite hard?
I'm struggling right now.
Struggling right now.
Nah, basically, I'm trying. This is. I'm sure programs are very aware of this. Just making anything really, and you're like, oh, but like right now in my code, I use a sign to rotate Pepper's arm like he's scanning the area with the metal detector. But so I reference the arm, but the our animation still overrides the animation that I programmed. So now I'm trying to figure out why it's overriding it, because I did something similar with the volleyball system, and that worked just fine.
Yeah.
I think there you only took one of the existing animations instead.
No, I mean like the way they look at the ball. That's what I mean. That animation.
Yeah. In case you guys have noticed yet, the animation for the volleyball is actually just the pizza throwing animation. A little tidbit for you over there.
Inside knowledge.
Yeah, the animation.
Don't go spreading around all at once, though.
Yeah, I think that's also a good note of like game development sometimes is taking the right shortcuts. I incidentally read a Twitter thread this week where there was, I didn't remember exactly which game, but they were trying to do like triggers in things like cutscenes, I believe, but they didn't have a system for timing it, but it could be tied to animations. So they had like I think it was a squirrel, which did a funny jump, but the squirrel ended up being used for all the timing. So, for example, if you wanted something to happen after a delay, you just let it happen after one squirrel animation that was hidden somewhere invisible on the map.
So the squirrel was the timer for the animation.
Yeah, it was a timer to make anything on the delay happen.
Reminds me of like a frame data for like fighting games and stuff. Just like instead of frames arriving at squirrel.
See.
I also got a question from the chat for the people who want to share. But where are you from? Where is Project Island based?
Well, Project Island is obviously a company from the UK. No, we are actually in Ireland because of tax reasons. Okay, that wasn't as funny as I imagined it. Sorry. I'm from Germany. I think one of the only people from Germany who's actively working on a project here.
He's all alone, all over there.
If you're German, I need a friend. Hit me up.
Supply.
To answer though, everybody's from everywhere. Since it's a volunteer project, like we have people from all over the world. I would say, what do you guys think? Largely like
Dutch.
Western European, and then like Northwestern European, and then Dutch. Mostly Dutch, actually.
But for some reason, the Dutch really love the game, and I blame it on the awesome translations, or like because the voices were translated back then.
Yeah, especially Lego Island 2. I feel it was very popular here. Maybe I'm also biased, but a lot of people that I ask about, they do recognize the game, especially if they're like around my age. That's very funny to hear.
Yeah, so you can talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm also Dutch, by the way, if that wasn't clear. And that's maybe also a reason for some extra Dutch people leading on board. But a lot of people found it on their own, so don't want to
Yeah.
take credit.
It's not like Floris actually just hits up his friends or something.
No.
Okay, I fixed the bug, by the way, and now Pepper's spazzing out with his arm. Great. He's actually doing the right thing with his arm. He is like he's doing the right range, but he's not. Well, the axis is wrong, and yeah.
Yeah, his arm is broken by the metal detecting. Oh, you get put on spotlight as well.
He's flapping it like a chicken. That's pretty funny. That's something I like about programming as well. It's just like the crazy stuff that happens.
Someone in the chat is asking about how the animations work. I think we can explain that actually, or like how we at least imagine them to work. What do you guys think? Shall we? Yeah.
So you can talk about it.
Basically, we are animating in Blender. We have a Blender rig and animate everything there. For the Unity side of things, we are currently using the animator that Unity provides, but we are trying to switch over to another system really soon. Basically, the idea behind it is that since 90% of the stuff that is being animated is a minifigure, what we can do is have a single animator for every single minifigure. And what we then do is we override the animations if we want a specific animation for a minifigure. For example, everyone could have a pizza baking animation, but only Papa actually spins it like a professional. Something like that. And yeah, basically on a more detailed level, you also have specific body selections with the animations. So you could say that the animation only affects the upper body. So that way you can have pizza throwing while standing, but also pizza throwing while running. And those can be the same animation basically, but not affecting the legs.
Well, I got the speed down now, but the angle is still not working.
Brick by brick is what they say.
Yeah.
Oh, he's scanning.
Making changes brick by brick.
Every step that gets done is even better.
But what my original problem came down to with the arm is that there's two arms. There's MR arm and there's R arm. If that wasn't confusing enough already.
Yes.
Basically, I chose the second arm instead of the one arm. Yeah, there we go. Now Pepper's slowly scanning left and right. That's exactly what I want.
Oh, yeah. Super cool.
Could make it a little bit faster. So yeah, that's pretty. That's all right, I think. And then flipping through the floor a little bit, that's like a minor thing.
Then he just runs with it like it weighs nothing.
Just slings it around.
I mean, everything has it's just plastic. It's just Lego. Yeah.
Bash it against the floor.
And I'm thinking, next part is, I guess, generating loot. But I gotta say, this system is kind of something that we came with last minute. I guess to kind of prevent spoilers, but also to have something small because the actual thing I'm working on is a lot bigger.
We actually showed it off already, so you can talk about it actually.
The building system.
Yes.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, okay, I can talk about the building system.
Not in great detail, but like, what will it be used for? I would like to know that.
Well,
Build
In-
primarily.
The name is
Interesting.
program.
I'm sorry.
I mean, shit. Shush.
Oh,
Shush,
bup,
shush.
bup, bup, bup.
I don't-
Okay. I'll do it. So in the gameplay preview, you've seen a bridge being built. One of the main things about that was that Pepper had to, or got to interact with a base plate. Basically, the building system will be used for building. Building basically. You will be able to collect builds, and basically you can just select the build then, and that's pretty much it. You select it and then it gets built. It's super simple and super nice.
looks very simple on the eyes, very complicated to program from scratch.
Mhm.
I've been spending a lot of time making it look nice and compatible with all kinds of resolutions and things like that. So, yeah, I'd say user experience is a very high priority in my opinion. That everyone has the smoothest and the most fun experience playing the game.
What we can definitely say about it is that you'll find out more about it in Dev Update number 5, which will be the Q&A episode.
Hmm.
And if you guys haven't heard, we are currently working on a Q&A episode. So yeah, that's that. It has been announced in at the end of the gameplay preview.
And if you haven't watched the gameplay preview yet, it has a lot of cool stuff, such
You
as
know.
gameplay and buildings.
How about linking it in the YouTube chat?
I'll do that right now.
Hmm.
Yes.
So Sam, how is your progress going so far?
I have finished the tent, and now I am on to making a optimized piece or a high poly piece.
It's nice, very nice.
Yeah.
Optimized piece, what are you working on? Are you currently doing bricks?
I am doing bricks, yes.
Oh, thank you very much. Are those bricks perhaps for the radio station?
They are indeed for the radio station.
Oh, how glorious of you.
Bricks in our game?
Yeah, basically. Okay, so let's see. What can I show? Let's show the following. So I've been working on some nice optimizations of the models. Let me show the whole thing. So what we have right here is the entire wall module, or like all modules that are walls, essentially. Let's see, let's look at the stairs, actually. So right here we have both stairs next to each other. Go ahead and do this. Okay. So here we have optimized stairs versus non-optimized stairs. What I did was basically I just created a bunch of cubes and basically deformed them to make that all possible. Right here we have the entranceway to the radio station, essentially. And you can see that there's a bunch of detail being lost, which will be later on added with the normal and ambient occlusion mapping that Sam is doing, or Son of Numenor is doing. As you can see, we are still keeping that little lip over here that is part of the tile. And what's basically we're keeping that because it affects the silhouette of the object. Basically, like how we decide what detail to keep and what not is by the way that the player is viewing it. If it is viewed from a side view, like from a silhouette, imagine this whole object being completely blacked out. You'll still be able to see that little lip over here. And that is why we are modeling it. What won't be modeled is these gaps in between the bricks. And those are done through the mapping. Because if you imagine the whole object in black over here, you won't be able to see them because the whole object is essentially black. Or you won't be able to see them super nicely. Right here, we can go obviously super close and then see the gap, but not if the player is looking at it from above from an angle like this. Yeah, that's basically how the stuff gets optimized. Let's look at another model I made. Let's see, for example, the deck is completely finished already. Going out of that. So right here we have the entire deck portion of the whole thing. If we do this and go with the deck. So basically what we have right here is, for example, the deck itself. Essentially the same process, except for that it has little round 1x1s underneath here. Same with the posts as well. Here we have the optimized versus unoptimized model. A lot of detail is being lost, but gets added back in with the normal maps. So stuff like the brick gaps will appear in the final game. Keep following us and you will see a progress update on the radio station very soon as well.
I also got a question from the chat, which I'm not going to answer because it's a very hard choice to make. But do you have any favorite song from the Lego Island games?
Brick by brick.
Minty Fresh from Lego Island Extreme Stunts.
Good choices.
I do also like Plastic. Actually, Minty Fresh and Plastic Fantastic, I like them both just as much as each other.
That's a very interesting choice. I don't think many people will choose Island Extreme Stunts, even though it has many bangers.
That's really.
I grew up playing it just a lot, really, because it was the first. Well, actually, it was the only PlayStation 2 game I got that was Lego related, and I honestly just played it a lot just for the music because it's just the whole soundtrack is really good, honestly. And I usually do leave it on the rock setting, but if I sometimes just leave it on to play all the tracks, and sometimes you hear that medieval one or some of the weird like bassy ones, like the what's it called, like the
2000
rave ones, like the bassy beat rave ones, and it's got like a really really diverse soundtrack, and it's honestly just fun to play just for that.
I remember there was like a classical station, I think, and one of the tracks I always wanted to play on the piano, and then I did. So that was my
nice.
Did you feel empowered?
Yeah, but like all the three games had quite good music, I think.
Yeah, I think Lego Island 2 definitely goes more in the direction of it being a video game instead of it being like lively plays in terms of the music. Or at least it seems that way, because most of the songs are just without lyrics and stuff.
Yeah,
I think it's the vocals that make it for me.
It's like typical sort of game theme sort of thing. My favorite ones from Lego Island 2 are the brick diving theme, asteroids.
Oh yeah, that one's super nice.
Bricks to Block
Everyone loves asteroids.
I quite like all of the songs in just in general, but I've got a simple direct music player, which is which can play the old Lego Island tracks. And I just like listen to Brick Diving on loop I can literally just listen to it for hours while I'm 3D modeling. It's just such a chill track. Oh, also skate park.
Also skate park, yeah.
Skate park rules.
And the main menu one. We also had like a cover of that in the starting screen. Which I really like.
Mm. Actually, we planned to share a few more songs than only that one for the stream in the starting soon section. Do you guys think it would be possible to share one more? Just like, as a small break or something?
Show one more.
One of the songs. I am indirectly checking in with our guy behind the chair right now.
Yeah.
Who also has a name, which is Hunter X. He's a very cool guy. Very cool
Shout
programmer.
out. Yeah.
Shout out.
Shout out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Looks like he needs an audio file though.
Someone asked what's their favorite Lego game other than working on Lego Island sort of related stuff, and my one is Stunt Rally because I just love that game. Loads of people don't, and I understand that, but I just always quite like. Whoops! Sorry, did you just hear me? All right, I forgot I was tapped into Chrome.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
People don't usually like the top-down sort of scaleatrix kind of gameplay of it, but I think I just like all the characters, really, the cars, and I think it's a real shame that not all of them got released as sets. Like only the 4 playable characters in their cars got released as sets. There were a few of the other the Glacier's monster truck, which was the blue one, which came in the set with the green monster truck. So there was some that were released as sets, but it's a real shame that I think they didn't, because at that time they were going through their sort of mild financial issues, so it makes sense. But I think I personally have always liked Sun Rally, and the build feature is really good as well. It's really fun. I used to love making tracks and just basically filling the whole thing with loop the loops.
The best piece, obviously. Just
It's way different.
no, I mean graphically, yeah, but like
I've seen
you
videos.
still play. You even can switch lanes. That's something that the main game I don't think had.
Yeah, you can actually. You can.
Okay, then maybe I played it wrong.
Well, it seems to kind of work and kind of not. If you just if you press and hold it, your car kind of diverts in that direction a little bit, but it can sort of automatically start going over to the other side on its own. Like in some tracks, like Mr. X's track, there's 3 sections of bumpy track on it in a row, and actually on a few other tracks. And if you you can steer to avoid it, but because it goes on for 3 segments, your car will just then start turning back towards them, and then you bump on them anyway. So there's actually a parameter in the command, the target parameter, where you can add back in manual steering, which was actually how the game was for a lot of the time, and it's very broken because they never intended you to have it, and you can't actually finish races because the checkpoints don't work. But yeah, you can actually steer, and it's terrible because it doesn't work. They didn't implement it fully, obviously. But yeah, there's actually quite a few of those you can do with the other games. I can't remember what the other ones are. Most of the other ones are just sort of cutting out the intro the start things, but it's a few sort of those little hidden things you can do with the games, and makes them a bit more fun to play, especially since you can play all of them in HD as well with a few tricks. Like I made a tutorial how to play Lego Island that way, and that sort of, I think that makes it so that the old games you can sort of enjoy them a bit more with a fresher look, because you can sort of see things a bit better, and it's not all just sort of low resolution muddy. Someone says they love the Stunt Rally intro. Yes, that's my favorite intro FMV as well.
I really like the music on that one. It's super energetic. They really captured the vibe.
I think I always loved the FMVs. I every time I watched them, every time I played Lego Racers on my PlayStation, I watched it. Every time I played Stunt Rally, I watched the intro FMV. Every time with Lego Island, I did. It's just they were all. You could really tell they put in a lot of work to make it so that you really got excited to play the game. And admittedly, some of them were a bit lackluster when compared to the actual gameplay, like Lego Loco, for example.
Excuse me?
That is very different.
Did you just talk smack about our favorite train simulator? That gave us the all-important, what's his name? Super Mr. Conductor.
Superstation Master.
Mr.
Super
Conductor.
Station Master.
I did actually know
man.
about him because because I grew up with the Lego Island 2, the PlayStation version of Lego Island 2, and the train track is completely missing, and so the Superstation Master isn't a character in there. So when I played the PC version for the first time in like 2015, I was like, "Who the hell's this?" I don't know you.
What are you doing in my game? This is not Lego Island.
I was surprised actually how different the versions were, because Racers is exactly the same as it is on PlayStation and PC, but yeah, Lego Island 2 is really different for anyone who might not have played the PlayStation version and you've only played the PC version. It's really different. Actually, I say really different. In terms of looks only, there's a few less things, like you don't have the fishing mini game. The island is a little bit laid out differently because of the missing train track, and otherwise, actually, it's quite similar. But that's the one I grew up with, so I've got a liking for that one a bit more than the PC version. But the PC version is very fun as well, and as I said, I love the music, which is better quality in the PC version as well.
Yeah.
But I think the PS1 version does way better than the PC version is, making the actual island feel unique. For some reason, to me, it seems like the set dressing of the PlayStation version is way cleaner with all the fences and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. It just feels more active to me.
I think like it's probably to fix some limitations, but it does make it feel larger.
Well, you mean the PC version not having all the fences everywhere? Because the PlayStation version has red fences absolutely everywhere, and you constantly get stuck on them with the Island Racer. And it makes a funny noise. It like goes when you catch on them. And I've actually made it so that if you drive into one of them in the information center, you can actually get stuck, and it turns you around and basically like spits you back out to go the other way. But if you get in a perfectly wrong place, you will just get stuck doing that over and over again, because it spits you out and turns you around directly into another collision box for another fence. So you just get stuck in this infinite loop of being turned around by the fences.
Wow.
Wow.
By the way, are you guys ready for a little musical intermission?
Sure.
I am prepared to empty my bladder. Yes.
Oh.
No,
Oh,
not because of the music though.
Yeah.
It goes a little something like this. Check it out, Sean. Down that. Mic check. 1, 2. This is a demonstration. Check it out, Sean. 1, 2. Down that. Mic check. Listen to this. 1 for the trouble, 1, 2, trouble, 2, 1 for the trouble, 2, 2. 1 for the trouble, 2, 2 for the 2, 1 for the trouble, 2, 2 for the. Check it out. 1 for the trouble, 2, 2 for the time. 1 for the trouble, 2, 2 for the time. 1 for the trouble, 2, 2
Wow.
Man, Duncan's music always makes me excited for the game. So this track has been done by ours truly, Duncan Steven, who goes by Purple My Rain. He can also be found on Spotify. And he has a really cool song over there I listen to up and down sometimes.
Yeah, I think he released a new song as well, like
Oh yeah, that's true.
a bit ago. Yeah,
Mm.
that's cool. Thanks things up. Should we switch over to Sam?
Ooh. There we go.
Right, so what's everyone's status report right now, I wonder? What's up with you, Mark? How are you holding up?
So now I'm generating the loot. Like stated before, we don't have any currently have anything planned for loot, so I'm just gonna make them random objects. What's gonna happen is, for how it's gonna be made right now, is that it's gonna generate a point near Pepper somewhere. And once it's generated that point, between a minimum and maximum distance from Pepper, it will change how the beeping sounds, the delay between beeps. So I just made it so I've no. So okay, so the beep delay, it's going to be vector 2. The height doesn't really matter because it's just X and Z position we're talking about. It's going to take the position of your arm that doesn't really move that much. It stays relatively. I don't want to add Pepper in this thing as well because we already have something near Pepper. So I take the position of that and then subtract the position of the loot. And that number will tell us how far the loot is away from Pepper. And then I use that number as a delay between beeps. I hope I explained it a little bit well.
So one thing that we at Project Island really value as well is accessibility. What if a person would be deaf? Could they still play that minigame?
If they're dead?
Deaf.
Oh, right. Deaf. Yeah. Ideally, there's also going to be visuals, of course, but I'm doing the audio first. Oh, yeah. And right now I'm taking the distance, and it's like, by default, it's like 3 seconds. And if the distance will... oh, wait, I forgot to set a minimum maximum distance. So let's see. Yeah, right now it's... so if I set it, the minimum distance to like 1 and the maximum distance to 2 or something, like very nearby, it will... I haven't tested yet, so very unlikely that's going to work right away. But basically it's going to play a sound when it gets nearer or farther away. Should probably visualize it first where that position is, because I haven't tested that yet. So
one of the questions is related to Mark specifically, about how the visual indicator will look like, or at least how you imagine it to look like. Someone's asking about if it will look like the circles in The Sims.
Yeah. My Sim is actually a pretty good reference. In that game, it's also very accessible. You walk to a place and then you can start the metal detector as well, and I think it's actually the same principle. But yeah, you walk somewhere and then there's like these circles that grow or shrink, and they also go faster and slower, and they kind of change color to really make it as easy as possible to see like where the loot is. But yeah, right now I'm just doing the sounds as a first.
I
And-
love how you say loot.
Loot get. I think I'm just gonna. I'm gonna make a. For now, I'm just gonna make a loot box, right? So at the start, the loot box position will be the same as oh. The position will be the same as the loot position. Now, because I only use the X and Z, the Y stays the same. So I can use loot position.x. Then we take the original positions Y, that never changes, and the loot box dot z loot position. And I already placed a cube in the room. Oh, right. And I'll just set that loot box to the literal cube that's right there. And I'm probably going to make that cube really tall so it can stick out of the sand if it gets buried.
I like people in the chat already worried about loot boxes.
Oh no!
There are no microtransactions yet.
Oh god.
So,
No.
let's talk a bit about what could be possible loot for this sort of thing. Or just in general, what kind of loot Project Island is planning to have. I think that's a pretty good question that hasn't been posed yet.
Yeah.
What do you guys think would be good loot for the game?
But we have quite a little thing related to the building system.
I'm
Yeah,
not sure if
obviously
I'm allowed to talk about that.
the builds themselves are obviously a very good loot in itself. Because you collect it as well. I don't know. Should we talk more about the building system? I feel like we are kind of tap dancing away from the whole question a bit.
I have a lot to say about it, but I don't know if I'm allowed to.
Yeah, me neither, honestly. Floris, what do you say? You're the project lead.
Yeah, I think we can talk about it for.
Okay. I actually could pull up some visuals for that as well.
The game design document?
Yeah, the game design document.
Game design document.
Should we talk about it? Yeah, I think so. Let me go pull that up right now.
I'm heading off now, guys. I want to go for a walk while it's still light. So thanks for having me for a bit.
Yeah, sure thing. Thank you for joining.
Hope I answered some questions if anyone actually was interested. Hopefully people are. I'd hope so.
They're still
Yeah,
watching.
for sure.
You definitely gave a lot of insight.
Yeah, sorry, I can just. You need to stop me if I just talk too long.
It was nice. It was nice. Thank you very much for joining.
All right, see you guys.
Bye.
Right. Well, looks like the position is not calculated properly right now. So.
Okay.
Oh, I know why.
I've actually pulled up the document now. Okay.
Because there were some
What?
design changes. But that's I guess that's kind of to be expected when you put a lot of effort into something.
Okay, guys. So everything you're about to see will be very in development, and please just be mindful that not everything you see right now will be 100% in the game as it is right now. we are just kind of experimenting on it and are trying our best to make it work nicely. Okay. Waiting to see if I'm on screen. Okay.
Yep, I see it on your screen.
So what you're seeing right now is one of our internal documents. This is basically how the building system user interface is currently going to look like. On the right side, you have the actual build on the base plate. And basically, you walk up to the base plate, and then you interact with it, and this is the menu that you're going to see. And right over here, you have different builds available to you. And what will be pretty cool is that Pepper will basically have the Constructopedia from LEGO Island 2 at his disposal. And you'll be collecting Constructopedia pages as the builds themselves. Over here, you have a few basic I want to say a few basic tags that you can filter the objects by. And this basically gives you an idea of what the build will be about. Something like furniture, something with mechanism, something that's very hot, stuff like that. And yeah, basically, as you can see right here, a few builds are unlocked, a few of them are not. Yeah, other than that, one of the things, but we've scrapped it already a bit, is that we wanted to have you also collect certain brick types. So you would have the Constructopedia page, but then also a certain brick type that you need to collect before actually getting to build the item. But we scrapped that idea because it's just another extra layer of having a collectible for the sake of having collectibles. So
Yeah, it's kind of a tease, you know.
yeah, basically, like you find the Constructopedia page and then you walk up, see how it will look like, and then oh no, you don't have the bricks. Oh, guess I won't be building that then. So yeah, that's why I decided to get rid of that idea. This was basically a relic from when we also thought about having a brick as a resource, basically. So, for example, you need 2,000 basic bricks to build a certain item. But then we didn't want to make it a sort of grind fest, so that's why we got rid of that idea. Well, like basically that's what it evolved into, but now it's nothing basically. So now you collect the Constructopedia page and can build it immediately. The only limitations are the size of the base plate that you are building on. The build can't be bigger than that. And also a few certain situations, like you could imagine that the bridge cannot be built anywhere where a bridge wouldn't fit, essentially. Mark, would you like to add something to it? Because you're the guy who's currently working on that.
Well, I'd say it's a lot more like Lego Island 2 right now. You know how when you find a page, it gets immediately built, the building. So I'd say it's a lot more like that now.
Yeah, but you can specifically select the items that you want or not.
Yeah, you got the power of the Constructopedia in your hands this time. So with great power comes great responsibility, you know.
Maybe I can also. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I can also talk a bit about what the goal of the building system is.
Yes, please go ahead.
Cool. And so the building system partly is for decorating the world. So some places you can choose some very nice buildings, make the world a bit more your own, but they're also used for missions. So sometimes you need a creative solution to a problem, or an islander needs something specific and you have to solve what they need. And in that way, you help them out with your building skills.
Yeah, and what's also very cool about it is that puzzles can have multiple solutions, essentially. The idea behind that is, so this goes now more in depth than we will talk about in the dev update. but basically each build will have specific tags attached to it. For example, both a pizza oven, a campfire, and the sun is very hot. Meaning that they'll have a hot tag attached to them. And then through context clues, you will see a build plate and, for example, a guy who's freezing. And then you'll place a campfire next to it and the mission is complete. But you can also place a pizza oven and the mission is complete because both feature the fire or hot tag side, or you can have the sun with it. And the person is also very comfortable with that.
Creative puzzle solving.
Yeah, basically. So this is A, for customizing, but also for different solutions to puzzles. Yeah, I think that's already a pretty good. That gives you a pretty good idea of what the system will encompass. One of the things that was considered early on in development, well, not even early on, quite recently still, was the addition of individual bricks placed on top of the build plates, so that you could select simple bricks and then just build your own model. And basically, we are currently experimenting with this system and see if it is enough. And if that system is this popular enough and people want more of it, then we could consider adding like individual bricks as well. The problem with them is obviously that each brick will be an individual model, so you would have a lot of unoptimized or like worse optimized objects in the game that the player can place themselves. It's kind of similar to how in Minecraft you ignite a bunch of TNT. It's like that, where the possibilities are endless, but at some point your computer just says, "Please stop." So this is one of those things where a bit of not limitation, but a bit of finesse is required to make it fun without really interfering with the creativity of the player. If that will be considered. Currently, we are trying it out with pre-built Constructopedia pages. And right now, it's looking quite well. I would just say.
It looks well. Take it from this guy.
Okay. I think I'm done explaining for that. If anyone else would like to add something to it.
I think it's cool. It's hot.
What's the chat saying? I'm not seeing it right now. Is the chat also excited for it?
Yeah, I see some excited messages. Also about the gamepad supports. And also, question: have you heard of Lego Brick Tales?
Yeah, we actually did.
I played the demo last weekend. I think it's really cool. You can also build with individual bricks there, even though it's like a smaller space. It's really cool, and like solving puzzles and just mashing bricks together to make player walk on it, or build some support as well. There was one point where you had to make a support for like it like physically came down. That was very fun, and I totally bullshit at first. It like completely went down. So that's fun.
So, like, there's a bunch of systems already present where someone optimized a bunch of bricks like that. And Brick Test is kind of the most recent example with that, where you can build your own stuff and then the bricks get optimized on the fly, basically. Meaning your computer won't be set on fire with them.
Yeah. Talking about bricks, we can maybe transition to some bricks.
Yeah, how are the bricks going on, Sam?
Well, actually, I'm on the last piece that you sent me.
Oh, that's amazing. That means I
So-
could theoretically finish the radio station.
Yes.
Pretty good.
Unfortunately, I saved the ugliest and worst for the last one.
Oh,
But we'll get it done.
Which one is the worst one? I'm not seeing it.
The door.
Oh, of course, the door.
Everything else was fairly straightforward already. So,
Mhm.
but yes, you can see that coming directly out of Mecha Bricks, they are rough, at least for what we're trying to do. So it's just a lot of cleanup, a lot of topology.
I mean, it's still a very, like, a work that requires a lot of talent.
mhm.
It's no easy feat. That's why I'm not doing it as well. And I'm just like doing the fun part of optimizing entire models.
It is satisfying to see this though, like
Oh, totally.
being tinkered with, and I'm also like, my god, these people know so much shortcuts and like to their way through Blender. So it's really cool to see.
Yeah, well, that comes with a lot of practice.
Tikkum and Hank in the chat also loves topology.
Hey,
It's
if
a
you love
fun thing to
topology,
work
then
on, yeah.
please feel free to apply, because this is basically everything that we are doing in terms of modeling. Everything is hard surface.
For those
Yeah,
of you who know some topology stuff, like especially on these higher poly pieces, we're not looking necessarily for the absolute cleanest topology. It's whatever works well with a bevel modifier and subsurf. So like there are times where I'll use n-gons on flat faces and I'll add a bunch like this and not really bother optimizing it, because it's not going to make that much of a difference in the end, because these are purely going to be used for normal map baking, not for the final pieces. Anyway. Yeah.
For you top hats out there. Do you think there's like a little cult with topologies? Of like topologists and stuff?
Like the Masons, but for topology masters? Probably.
Actually, have you guys seen that guy on Numberphile? So there's this YouTube channel called Numberphile, which is
Yeah.
like a mathematician's
Yeah.
YouTube channel, and it's it's just this old guy talking about this super neat thing called Klein bottles.
Yes,
Um,
Klein bottles.
That
Yeah,
goes
which is
inside itself.
it's basically a 4-dimensional object, and he's obsessed with making them out of real glass.
When are we going to make a
4D?
4D Lego game?
Yeah. That's the next project.
There's
It
actually a
sounds
few.
like a wizardry.
There are a few very interesting 4-dimensional games out there, or at least ones in development, as far as I know.
Oh, is it like the what's it called? Like the space that you could like enter, but you exit it in a different way, or the scale's different?
Oh no,
There's like
that's
a word for it.
yeah. What's it called again?
Yeah, non-Euclidean, I believe.
Yeah, non-Euclidean geometry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's also feels 4D to me.
Yeah,
That's
but
probably not.
that's still not 4D actually.
Wow.
That's just breaking rules of Euclidean geometry, which is basically real-world geometry.
Mm.
Stuff like that parallel lines never meet. But yeah, I think we're diving way too deep into that sort of stuff.
That's fine.
Boring the audience, am I right?
There's some engineer stuff, like crazy math stuff that looks weird. Always fun.
It's very cool how many like smart people we have in different fields on the
I was
project.
just gonna comment on that. Like there are quite a few engineers in the project and people who do stuff in like the STEM fields as their actual careers. And so we do end up having these very like hypothetical, like philosophical almost conversations occasionally. Because why not?
That's another game that's for the like 4-dimensional instance. I personally haven't played it because I'm a bit scared of like 4th dimensions. I am not the best puzzle gamer.
I think we just got a little bit of robot Necro.
Are the bots taking over the team as well?
I'm very sorry.
Perhaps. No,
How
it's
did we
not
know
that.
Necro wasn't a bot to begin with?
Oh no.
Not again. They found me out.
Not again.
I have to change my name once more.
Oh, also, Duncan is in the chat. Hello.
Oh, Duncan.
Duncan!
We've played one of your tracks, dude. The people went crazy.
Yeah. There's 2 Dutch guys on right now on the call. Unless there's some like secret people.
Well,
I'm also Dutch. You guys
technically,
didn't know that?
technically, Mark isn't Dutch. Well, okay, passport-wise, he is, yeah.
I just don't live in the Netherlands.
Yeah, see?
Oh, traitor.
Still
I
counts.
don't even know who you are.
Don't tell him. Oh, by the way, the metal detector works now.
Oh, the whole thing? You already done?
the what's it called? The minimal viable product.
Fancy.
Bare minimum, that's fine.
As in, like I haven't even used the shovel yet. But I just said like, okay, whenever you find, oh, you know what? I should actually go a little fancy here and actually play in full screen, or at least on maximized, rather than having that ugly red around everywhere. But I already gotta say the beeping is pretty obnoxious right now. But basically, the closer you get, so you can tell you when you get pretty close. Oh, yeah. So that's it basically. When you find it, you have this big yellow, this white, basically an outline around that big white box. So I'm already pretty close now. And then it's somewhere around here. I'm sorry if I'm blasting anyone's ears off with this noise, but this is what.
We don't hear it.
It's on the stream. So the people at home come a little close to the radio and
But yeah, basically, you find it, and then it actually just teleports somewhere else, basically. But that kind of, it's like a magician explaining its trick. It kind of removes the magic. But right now, when you find it, it just teleports to another spot. But basically, whenever I find it, I press E, and E would be the interact button. And then you would receive your loot or get like a digging animation or something.
very cool.
So I'm getting closer again. Oh.
I'm digging it so far.
I was waiting.
We all know that happens all the time.
Oh, where's it? I got him right on it.
Floris also did it when we looked at the dig side. This is the internal name for the archaeology site, so no
Probably.
surprises there, throwing some shade at you.
I worked on like a light installation once, and I made the joke like, "Oh, this is so lit." I made it way too often, but it never got old, at least for me.
At least for you.
Yeah, everyone else just rolling their eyes, but I'm just like, yeah.
Okay, I'll do one. I'll just find this one, and then I'm gonna continue making it a better. Yeah. Right. But yeah, I think people would appreciate visuals more than a beeping noise, or they might they might get tinnitus.
And maybe once it's totally done, we'll have some nicer beeping noises as well.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
what?
exactly.
What do
I
does?
I actually had a pretty cool idea when it comes to metal detecting in video games in general. Because I know a lot of games do this where they go like, oh, high pitcher, or the beeps go faster. I think it would be cool to make it music dynamic, where it's like a beat of a song and like the beat changes.
Cool.
That's actually something that we've been trying to look at as well. Like, not specifically in that sense, though. Just like in the way of dynamic music as well. It's super hard to do, though.
Yeah.
Especially since the game will mostly be on radio. Like, basically, Pepper walks around and he has a radio, so...
Yeah, it would kind of interfere with that.
Yeah, you would need to have every single song be that sort of way, unless you like do a transition and then just play a single song.
That would be a lot of effort. Unless you just speed increase the tempo of the music, that could also be
Like a Mario Kart final lap.
Yeah, exactly, like a Mario Kart final lap.
Oh yeah. I don't know actually just how they did that. Like with the account, it just use the one on the music, the most different of song.
Sorry, we just got another episode of Necromaticon or Robot.
Okay, I'll stop talking.
Maybe it will be back.
Getting bullied.
Chat, Dil Trevor says, prove that you're human.
Also, one more comment I'd like to make on the on the metal detector right now. I just read a comment about that the metal detector is indeed swinging. Right now, the metal detector is just attached to his arm, so there's no special animation for it. Ideally, there should be like a separate animation for metal detecting itself, rather than doing it through code like I'm doing right now.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Because when people are when people are metal detecting in real life, I don't think they're also running full speed. The speed running metal detecting.
I need
You've
real
never
life
seen
accurate.
me metal detect.
Running metal detection. And like people always do a backflip when they find something. That's always very important.
Yeah, victory animation.
If you don't
Yeah,
do a
that's all.
backflip, then you just better not metal detect at all.
Yeah, that's also a thing. When you just started making something, of course it's gonna look really unpolished. But yeah, that's because the polish comes later.
Yeah.
I'm actually not quite sure what I should do next for this. I could try introducing the shovel, where you first get a shovel animation.
Yeah, maybe we can reuse the pizza animation once again. Probably
What
is like
animation?
the pizza train.
The throw.
You only like shovel in the air then. But
Oh yeah, so instead of the metal detector in his hand, it will be the shovel, and he'll just like smack the shovel.
yeah, you'll just
Something like
do that a few times throwing the shovel, I guess. But then
Oh yeah, you can throw pizzas while metal detecting too, right? But you know what? I could do that. That the model of the metal detector is replaced by the shovel when you're near it or something. I think I can do
yeah,
that. Hmm. I gotta say, even when you get super close to the loot, it's still pretty hard to tell where exactly. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Yeah, I could do that.
by the way, Necro, if you want to try talking, you can say like, "Hey." We can see if you're a robot or not.
And I think I'm human.
Oh no.
Okay, that's clear. Unfortunately, you're still cursed.
That's not good. Necromatic Robotron.
Necromaticon.
It's funny though that like we do hear some things.
Like
There's
that.
definitely noises, but
Yeah, as soon as I speak, the connection breaks up.
Yeah.
hmm.
Discord in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Will bricks robots make a return? Well, they're already in the stream.
Got him. Quick, someone throw a pizza.
I
Think that-
prefer the radio. Thank you very much.
Hmm. Hmm. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's anything we can do about it.
I don't think so.
Hmm.
Dial up. Like, don't try to call him right now. It won't work.
Yeah.
Does Pepper carry unlimited pizza or will he have to equip it in the pizzeria? Well, Papa has been hard at work, so Pepper will have a lot of pizzas.
Yeah. Where does he store the pizza?
That's a very good question.
Yeah. Is he hiding them in his hoodie, maybe?
Yeah, he just has like a secret stack in there. If he needs a snack, just throwing it.
Oh yeah.
I think it would fit actually if you have a big hoodie.
Yeah. And then your hand also just goes backwards. Like when he's throwing, his hands goes backwards first. So that's when he
Yeah,
grabs the pizza and then he throws. Yeah,
makes a lot of sense.
it does. Hmm. Yeah.
You can retexture his hoodie into a backpack. Yeah. And the backpack's also like infinite pizzas. Even more infinite, maybe.
More than infinite. Oh damn.
Yeah, double infinite.
Hmm. I think. Yeah, I think. In Lego Island 2, he wears a backpack.
Yeah. Maybe extreme stunts as well, but I'm not 100% sure.
Because in Extreme Stunts, he's. Not sure.
Do the same guys that do the topology also do UV and wrap sort textures? I think this depends. For example, Sam does both, but Necro only does topology usually. So it's a bit of a split between what people want. And another question, has there been any indication? Oh, you want to comment?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Has there been any indication from LEGO that they're working on Remake too? Because that would be troublesome. But it might be, but we have been in contact with LEGO, and we're at least okay to do what we're doing. And yeah, I think even if they were planning something, it would only be cool and could coexist. Maybe one final question: what's the hardest thing in your plans to do at the moment? That's a good question.
Is it working now with me?
Oh,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
sounding quite good.
Perfect. I just cut off my stream actually.
Ah,
I am very sorry for everyone who wanted to follow my journey.
Oh.
I kind of enjoyed the robot as well, so it's okay. But I enjoy your beautiful voice even more.
Oh man, thank you. I very much appreciate it. I needed to hear that. Okay, so what's the hard? Did you already answer the question? What's the hardest thing in your plans to do at the moment?
No, I'm not sure about it yet. Actually, there are a few points where I think that are hard, but I think in general, a lot of things are hard. Some things are just going very smoothly though, so it's
Really depends.
really depends. Yeah. But Necro, do you have anything that you can think like, oh yeah, that's very hard right now?
Yeah, actually. So we are currently nearing a point in development right now where most of the planning has already been finished. And we're currently heading into what I would consider mostly manual labor. And that's basically the hardest part because since everything is volunteer based, it's one of those things where you have to spend a lot of hours with experienced people to get stuff done. For example, like optimization. As you can see, I'm not even close to finish with, or as you cannot see anymore, but I'm not even close to finishing the
You used
radio station. And it's basically just one building on the entire island, which will take up like, I want to say about 0.1% of the map at best. So it's just a bunch of manual labor at this point, and I feel like this will be the hardest stage of the game, because if we lose interest, that's when stuff will be interesting, or like not interesting. because there will be no progress.
Yeah, I think
So
indeed.
keeping up motivation, essentially.
Yeah, and like a lot of production, because also moving into a stage where things are more finalized, like the game is not just a prototype anymore. Yeah, it's just a lot of making, and it costs time, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
So a few questions that we've been getting a lot about is what we do with monetization as well. Or like how we could, like if we accept donations or whatever. Floris, maybe you could tell what's up with that.
Yeah. So LEGO has set out certain guidelines. They're also available online, like the main version got the fair play guidelines. And one thing we have to consider for our project is that it's non-commercial. So we can't really make a profit out of it or probably earn money in general. So yeah, we just do it in our free time, and support probably best done in other ways for now. But it's very cool that people want to support this as well, like that.
We appreciate it, but we don't need it, essentially.
Yeah. But like it does help, like people just joining in to like help with this production stuff and sharing the game around. At some point we'll probably also have like things like testing will be very useful. If people write nice book reports, that's always very helpful. Those kinds of things are still possible ways to support it, even if donations are not possible at this point, or maybe ever.
I mean, we are at least very grateful that none of our current people demand payment. Yeah, so we would be kind of at a loss.
In
Man.
financial trouble.
Do I smell extortion, anyone?
You can leave if you want.
Bye.
Yeah, no, but it's I think it's also very cool, like just to see how many people join in on this, and really making this little thing together.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really incredible to see how many talented folks are in here.
Yeah.
And how many of them just played Lego Island at one point or another.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and also the comment of Mirin Maru in the chat, which I am trying to not mess up. Like it does help for people on the team as well. At least I think like we can support each other, learn things, meet new people, and I think these things are also very valuable as well.
Yeah, we are all amateurs mostly. So, like, there are a few professionals in our groups, but basically, most of us are just passionate about the process of game development and also about Lego Island. So, we are all learning from each other and all just kind of growing as people as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It would be fun if like the metal detector could just pick up random stuff. Like you just pull an entire palm tree or skeleton out of the ground.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
But also the model swapping is working. Pepper
Ooh.
is holding the shovel incorrectly though, but that's fine because he's actually launching pizzas with the shovel.
Oh, unintended cool feature. And Pepper's also dyslexic, so we can excuse it.
Yeah. He can't spell or read too well.
Yeah, there was a thing once, which I think is kind of weird, but they said dyslexic people can't really handle cutlery right,
Oh,
which is like interesting. I guess because you're more likely to screw up left and right.
hmm.
I don't really get if many people have stories with that, but with cutlery. But if you're dyslexic, but anyways, you don't eat with a shovel either, unless
Yeah.
you do, in which case, good for you.
I know.
Ooh, a question also from the chat: will we hear more songs tonight?
We can sing.
We're also just live planning this, by the way. So if we want,
It's very dynamic.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. We planned this all out and very prepared.
We planned out to be very quirky.
And I think we succeeded with that.
I think yes, exactly.
I agree.
All right, let's look at the musical library that we have.
Yeah.
So technically, we could also just play one of the songs that we've already played. For the gameplay preview, we could play Matty P's song, which he titled. I don't think he titled it any time. It is just listed as April radio track, but
Mhm.
it's called On the Island. It's that one, the gameplay preview one.
You're bored as can be.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, I think I have one actually. Let me write it down. So
Yes. Otherwise, I also do have the gameplay video track here. I don't think we put the entire one in the video, so it has some words. But other ideas are also cool. There's a lot of cool tracks we could show.
I am so excited that we have so many people here who interact with us. We are so thankful for every single one of you guys.
Yeah, it's cool, this stream as well. It was like something that we want to try out, but of course you never know if it's like interesting for people, and yeah, it's cool to chat with you and show some of these things.
Glad you could stick along.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like the current reception is so nice that we are probably going to do that again sometime soon. But I mean, too often is also not nice because it's like you need to come up with tasks and stuff, and it's. But now that we figured out the overall setup, it will probably be a bit easier now.
I am a fake. I'm pretending that Pepper has to shovel 3 times before you dig at the treasure, but in reality, I'm just doing that manually.
I have finished all of the pieces, by the way.
Nice.
Oh, does that mean I get to import them into the radio station now?
Sure, if you would like to.
Oh, I'm not
Let
sure.
me-
I'm quite scared now.
How do you want them sent to you?
Just to Discord DMs. And then, of course, they need to be added into the library at some point as well.
Send them as a blend file, though. Let me move them over.
Player.
We are still picking out a song. Don't you worry, my people.
Where's the song? Where's the song? I hope we don't start any riots.
I think I forgot a Blender shortcut. Sam, how do you split an edge?
V or Alt. Depends. Are you just trying to separate the edge?
I'm trying to place a vertex in the center of the edge.
Oh, like you can do right click if you're using left click as select and do subdivide and it'll split it exactly in half. You can also use Control R, depending on what exactly you're trying to do.
Yeah, for some reason the Control R one doesn't work. That's for some reason it creates an edge on the face, even though I'm in edge select mode.
It's probably because you can actually go through it. If it's a quad, then it will automatically continue through it if you're doing Control R, because that's technically a loop cut, not a division.
Okay,
So
that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I have to just do this. Yeah. Yeah, that works. Thank you very much.
Mhm.
And there you go. I'm not the. So Sam is definitely wiser than me. That's for sure.
Just more experience. That's all it is.
Detecting is false.
All right, Mark, you're gonna have to give the people what they want because I have to head out. So
Uh-oh. Well,
Oh, we've just got a new edition as well.
perfect
No.
timing.
Yeah, awesome.
Who is this new edition?
It's me,
Oh,
Placeholder,
Jacob.
residential slack off.
So this is not the edition that was that I was talking about actually, but we've got Jacob, one of our.
That's
Yeah.
even better.
That's even better.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think we are going for a small musical intermission again. It looks like it is. Ooh. So we've got okay, Hunter Ray chose correct. If not, we could have done a vote on that. Man, guys, we're killing it. a blast from the past, if I do say so myself.
Beautiful.
So, yeah, in case you haven't noticed yet, we are now trying to wrap it up. But we're doing one final round of questions. So ask away and we will try to answer it as truthfully as possible.
Yes, so hop onto the chat or Discord if you're in there and type away. Dale at least is dancing like a Lego person next to the jukebox. Isn't that lovely? Or in a medical center, that could work as well, but depends what you got going on there.
Okay, so while we're waiting, I do have a question for all you. So this is new for the Project Island community, right? Never done a live stream before, only videos. So would you do this again?
Very good question.
Oh, what's the very good answer?
I don't know if we can like decide on it without talking to the others like that, but I felt very positively about this whole experience.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it as well.
Same. I just feel like I maybe didn't talk enough. I don't know.
That's completely all right. We all pulled each other's weights in a sense.
Hmm.
But
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
we have so many talented people who could theoretically join us. And I feel like after the first stream, the shyness of some of them could disappear. So in a sense, we still have a lot more talented people to show off as well, in a sense.
Yeah, there are a lot of stuff we could show as well.
Mm.
There are so many people on the Project Island team that I respect and I admire. So I look forward to, like, if this does happen again, I'm not saying it will, but so many people, just seeing them, how they work, asking them questions, it'll be great. And I hope that the fans feel the same way.
All right. I think that's everyone. We've got a few burning questions in the chat, so I will just pick one at random. Well, not at random, not at random. Basically, the Retroi Doofery is asking if Unity's new input system is being used for our game. And to that I say, yes, it is currently. Mark is also currently working on it with the building system. And
It's busy right now, though.
yeah.
Throwing pizzas into the floor.
Mhm.
Sorry,
I'm wondering if you have any input on the new input system. How do you think it is?
was that for me?
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Sorry.
Sorry.
But yeah, we're using the new input system essentially.
Yeah, ignore here where I write input get mouse button. I'm just trying to be quick because we're wrapping things up. We should. I normally don't write this.
Mhm. No
But
problem.
I basically try to rework the system where when you're close enough, it stops beeping and you get the shovel, and then when you dig 3 times, then you get the treasure.
All right. And we've got a new addition for the stream, but sadly we are wrapping up. Yeah, no problem. It's Matty P. Raps or Matthew Perrier, one of our musicians as well. Mathieu Perrier? How is it pronounced?
Oh, if you're pronouncing it the French way, yeah, Mathieu Perrier, but you can call me Matthew or Matty.
Matty it is then. Very great musician and the guy who made the first track of the gameplay preview.
Yes.
Yeah, he wanted. Yeah, you wanted to join the stream. Do you have a funny anecdote to tell about that?
I do have a funny anecdote. It took about 3 hours of setup and troubleshooting before I was finally ready to go with the stream, and alas, you guys are wrapping up. But I'll still record a song. I was going to do it from top to bottom today. So I'll still do that just off stream, I suppose.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, more music in the works for sure.
Oh, that's amazing. Maybe with the next stream. So during the stream, we've presented a few of unreleased tracks yet. Maybe the next one could be yours then.
Yeah, definitely. If we have do we have a date in mind yet for that?
No. We aren't even. We just got asked if we would do it again.
Okay, great. As long as there is a next stream, because yeah, I have my whole setup going, and I'd love to share it with everyone.
Yeah, then we almost must, and I think everyone here enjoyed it from what we heard just before. So, damn, that's cool.
All right, shall we go for another question?
Yeah, maybe this one. What's a common misunderstanding what people have about Project Island?
I know a good answer to that.
All right, people. It's this is a sequel.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, basically, a lot of people think that the game is either a remake of Lego Island 1, 2, or Island Extreme Stunts. And that's basically it. I think it's because of the name, because we don't have anything like Lego Island 4, The Brickster's Revenge again, or something like that. It's like Project Island, very ambiguous in the naming scheme. But like it fits so well. I don't think we are allowed to use the Lego brand in our name. So that's all of the question in a sense.
Maybe we can call it Project Island 4. The Brickster's Revenge again. What did you say? The Brickster's Revenge again, for real this time. He's back.
This time he's going to do it, really.
This time he'll actually win, I swear, guys, please.
Please give him some bricks. Man just wants some bricks, bro.
I mean, and we can't really name it Project or Lego Island 4. Well, not only for legal reasons, but Island Extreme Stunts wasn't Lego Island 3 by name, so then you get really confused.
And
True.
also, there's a fan-made sequel titled Lego Island 3 anyways, and it features the American military, and it's not something to be associated with as well.
Yeah, that's
Right.
completely understandable, but it is more confusing than the Metal Gear franchise sometimes. But when it comes down to it, this is a sequel. This is taking place after Island Extreme Stunts. I don't know if it's like, it's definitely not like the same quality as the other three games, seeing as it's 30 years later or 25 or whatever, but it's definitely a sequel. It's story wise, and it's just great to see all the writing coming to it.
Also, what I think is like, no, I forgot. Sorry.
I agree.
Yeah, completely.
Yes, I love it. Okay, so since
yeah, right. Sorry. If you guys have any idea how to make it more clear that this is a sequel and not a remake of any sort of kind, then please let us know. Because we are definitely not trying to pass off as a sequel. No, we are passing off as a sequel. We are not trying to pass off as a remake or anything.
Maybe the easiest solution is to just rework it into a remake, and then we can say, "Oh yeah, you were right all along." Maybe we were the
pretty
ones.
much.
Maybe it was Lego Island 1 all the way.
Yeah.
When
With the friends we made along the way.
it's a reboot, guy. No, I'm kidding. We should, on the website, just when you boot it up, the only word is sequel. That's it. Just no other information. No application page.
So actually, with Dev Update number 5, which is the Q&A episode, we'll definitely answer that one, but I don't know if that will help, to be honest. It feels like a bunch of the confusion comes from people just skimming every information they see, so it's just one of those things where we have to clarify for a very long time.
Yeah, and at the same time, it's quite okay. Like, at least people are not like, "Oh yeah, that's so cool. This is a Lego Racer sequel I always wanted."
Wait a minute.
Let's talk
No.
about other misunderstandings that people have about the project. Do you guys have any more?
My biggest was like people that port pizza as a demo, not the actual like whole shebang, because like yeah, I can see how
Yeah,
that
why would we stop at Port Pizza? If we already have like the main gameplay loop and stuff, then it's all about just creating cool environments and stories, you know?
exactly, like we're making 2 whole stories, 2 whole islands. It's yeah, why we wouldn't stop it just halfway.
Mhm. One thing that I think is also very cool to address is about the way that we kind of plan out the development. So post Port Pizza is basically when we will make Lego Island, and afterwards it's can be spread out into different ideas. Because like with Lego Island 2, there was this whole different island concept, and I think that can be expanded upon and worked on in iterations. Basically, Project Island will live on as long as the people developing it still have fun with it.
Yeah, and actually that is another misconception is that like when it takes a year to post another devlog, well we did nothing or not much during that year, and that's not true. There are times it does slow down. I mean, when we're working on nitty-gritty stuff, yeah, but there are a lot of people working very hard on this project, and it's great, and we love the support we get, and that makes us work even harder, and yeah.
All right, let's see. Do we have time for another question? Our guy in the chair is already impatient to leave.
Yeah, but I think
Yeah,
we did the questions from the chat. So unless any comes in, we can maybe we can just say, have you always wanted to say something to these lovely people watching today? Maybe like your favorite food. Like you always just want to voice that. This the time.
don't give me this power.
How many people are watching? Guys, do not record this.
You get an open
Make a
card
VOD
to
of
just
all of this entire section. Just make a VOD of it. I mean, it's not Twitch, but good enough.
Found the issue.
Oh yeah,
So-
that's very valuable to say.
Yes.
Did you want to say anything, Jacob, with regards
I mean,
to the question?
Yeah, I did. I still do. Am I gonna say it? Yes. So, I mean, I don't know. I've been like a pain in the butt to some of these people about like reaching out to the community more and more often, and that's something we're definitely working on. It takes a lot more than just putting out a post. There's a lot of thought behind it because if we tell you something and then it's wrong, you understandably get mad. We take Bethesda as an example towards that, but but
16 times the graphics.
yeah. But we are working hard and we are trying to help y'all with this process. We understand that people want more information fast, and it's not something that can be done instantly, but it is something being worked on. Yeah, and you guys are, when it comes to this, you guys are what make us keep going, because if there wasn't a fan base, why would we do this? Well, Floris has been in here 7 years deep, so I guess at this point he's too late to turn back, but for most people it's something, and we appreciate all that y'all do, your patience, but it's gonna get better.
Wait a sec, 7 years?
I think
I think it's 5.
5
I don't
5 7
even know, but long
Um,
enough that I
same
still
2017, right?
17. I thought it was like 14. The point is
Oh, I actually have one thing we could maybe show. Like a very early version of the old map. Would that be something that could be possible? Or should we even do?
The old map. I'm just thinking about what you're thinking about.
I'm thinking old Lego Island or maybe old Port Pizza.
Maybe we can show the old pork pizza one.
Well, we
Okay.
showed our entire workflow at this point. What's one more island?
Not a
Yeah, let me find it real quick. Feel free to answer questions.
So I don't see any questions, but one thing do you have any writers? We do, but you know what? If you want to apply to be one, we'll look at you and consider it, you know? I can't guarantee anything. I'm not in charge of this, but you never know. And although I do want to say something real quick. Right. So the Q&A video, Dev 5, very fire. Like I'm talking like this is top quality stuff right here.
It's okay, I guess.
You know what, Necro, shut up. So but no, it is very fire, and there's a lot of work behind it. It's a labor of love, basically. Yeah. My name's in it. That's all that matters to me, really.
That's
No, I'm
the most
kidding.
important part.
Yes, exactly. It features me. No, I just edited it. My voice isn't in it, sadly. But you see the grand return of Electric Star. He's in there. I'm not going to tell you where. You'll have to find him, but he's definitely in there.
Look very careful.
So yeah, it is very fire.
We're definitely also avoiding a question about pineapple pizza. I think there will be like Hawaiian influences throughout, but you know, depends in which way.
I'm currently really trying hard to look for it, but it just doesn't happen. Like, I can't find it.
Well,
Or can I?
maybe I have something.
Okay, I'm just gonna this my controversial opinion of the day. We all know I love these. Pineapple on pizza is a sin.
Whoa.
Is that controversial or is that just
It is
the
in
norm?
America. It is in America. But they're already divided, so who cares?
If I could chime in, as a Canadian, which, if you guys don't know, is
So-
actually the birthplace of Hawaiian pizza and pineapple being on pizza, you're incorrect.
Well, you know what? You want to know what I think of that? I don't care. I'm gonna be honest. But
We love that pizza.
you know what? As an American, I'd like to say that your opinion on pineapple on pizza is wrong, and I don't care what you think. No, I'm kidding.
So I found our old test map. We used to call it Stretchy World.
I just want to
Yeah.
say, while we're all arguing about pineapple on pizza, Mark's actually making progress.
Well, apparently I accidentally removed the shovel at one point, so now there's no shovel anymore.
Oh no!
So we can't dig anymore. Oh no.
Well, I do have some drums to record for this song, so I might leave the stream and get to work on that while you guys wrap up.
Yeah, sure.
Oh,
Thank you for
Alright.
joining us,
Yeah,
Mr.
no problem at all.
Canadian.
Oh,
we
you're
can
very
have
welcome.
like
Maddie, before you go, Reed, I think that's how you pronounce it, says he's a Canadian who doesn't like pineapple on pizza, so therefore your opinion is wrong.
You know what? Okay, I'll have to go back to the drawing board here. We can't possibly have two Canadians with differing opinions.
Exactly, it's impossible.
It's just that's how the world implodes.
Exactly.
So there's actually a German thing called Toast Hawaii, which is basically the same thing as pineapple pizza, but without the tomatoes, but with just simple toasted bread. How do you feel about that?
Okay, well, for a second I thought you were gonna say like, it was like a stroopwafel with pineapple on it, and I'm like, I'm just gonna leave the chat right now. So, but in all seriousness, that's better than pineapple on pizza.
All right. So I was trying to search for an entire build, like a build of the game back in the day, but I can't find it. So the next best thing I can do is show an image.
Whoa.
Anticipation.
Yeah, I'm very sorry. It will take a bit. I remember I had like a moment where I spammed the Discord server with like images. Please continue talking. I'll find it and send it over.
I'm currently using a giant pyramid to dig with, but it's not very effective.
It's large enough.
Oh no.
You just throw the entire desert up into the air.
Yeah. I
Pepper
think it
has
more than
gains.
just loot. Oh. Oh
That's
boy.
something else. That's
I've doomed us all.
So I have a
So-
bunch of images I found.
so. I just want chat to know that Matty and I are still arguing in chat or in a private Discord chat. So that's fun.
Great. Let's see.
So Floris, I have a question for you while no one else is posting.
Yes.
So going back however many years, I'm not getting in this one again. Would you have changed anything about Project Island from the get-go?
Yeah, for sure. At the same time, the way it is now, like I'm happy with things. But like the early years, there were kind of, well, I don't know. I think because this was the first gamey thing I really tried to make, and that never goes really well. Because you just have to like fail a few times before you get like good at things. So I think in that time, like a lot happened that didn't need to happen, and we made a lot of stuff that was just not reusable and stuff. But at the same time, I think that also just helped getting to the point where we are now, and also my own like interest in making games. So even though I would have done a lot of things different, and if I were to start over again and never had done this, then would have done it differently. But I don't really regret anything. I have no regrets in general in life, but
I bet it was a great learning experience.
yeah, for sure. Yeah. And also, like, this becoming such a big team was also a different thing than just, trying out with Unity on your own.
Yeah, definitely. The managing aspect takes over in a while, like after a while, that you need dedicated people to kind of manage everyone and see that the game gets into a right direction.
Yeah.
Well, my thought adding on to yours, Floris, is that if you didn't do this, you would have never have met me, and that's just heartbreaking to think of.
Yeah, that would be so sad.
No, but
Sorry.
I know nothing about what you went through for the past 5 years. You could explain it to me, and it's be like, huh? But
Two sentences.
yeah, exactly. But I think it's impressive that you've come from. I think you started this project on your own, or like it was fairly small, and then it worked to be something that's big. I mean, we're talking a lot of volunteers and a lot of time and a lot of different people collaborating on one goal that you imagined.
Yeah, sorry, you cut out for me a little bit, but I cut.
That's perfectly fine. But basically, TLDR, I said that it must be impressive. It is impressive that you assembled a large group over something that you created and something that before I joined this project, I considered niche. I'm still cutting out, aren't I?
Probably. I hope I'm not cutting out because we've got well, you're not cutting out for me. It's Floris cutting out. Okay, so
Necro's in charge, so
okay, yeah. I'm in charge. Okay, so our guy in the chair tells us that the slideshow is already of early prototype images. So let's take a look at that, actually.
Hello. Sorry,
hey,
no
Floris,
problem. We're currently
we're starting the slideshow, and then I'll ask you the question one more time.
yes.
So I'm not sure which one you're currently seeing right now, but basically what's shown there in every single one is the old Port Pizza map, which was back then, I believe, completely designed with Photoshop. I joined after the map was done, so I don't know, honestly. But the main problem with that map and why we changed it was that it was very flat. You can see in one of the images. I think. I think our guy in the chair only shows one image. Oh no, it's in the slideshow. So basically, the one with the text on it, you can see a stretchy in the back, like a stretched out minifigure. And that's the mountain that used to be the biggest, like the highest point of the island. I don't know if the guy in the chair has it in there.
There's
I'm not.
one there.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So basically, it used to be the highest point of the island. So you can see that the elevation wasn't so defined as it is now. And actually, even right now, we are looking to rework the current iteration of the map into a third and hopefully final one. A lot of the stuff we are doing is mostly just experimenting, seeing how stuff works, and whatever else. You can also see in one of the images that in the same image actually as the mountain one, that Peppa is on a skateboard. And basically, we have basic skateboarding, but it's it worked at one point essentially because we are always ever evolving. We change however stuff behaves, and it breaks a lot of the old stuff. And it's basically just a labor. It's just a giant labor of like us gaining knowledge and then using that knowledge to make that game better in the process. And very proud of that. Also, what you can see there with the towers, with that little church towers, is the first iteration of the plaza that we've seen in the gameplay preview as well, which will also be changed. And you can also see in one of the images that Hotep Hotel already existed at that point. So basically, Hotep Hotel is now 3 different terrain iterations old. Essentially, it's one of the earliest builds that has been kind of that we've set our sights to and is set in stone to be on the island or like on the Port Pizza.
Very OG.
Another interesting thing is the image with the car one. Because you can see that we used to use, or most of the times we are using not Lego models in our games for testing. That other car was also drivable in a sense. In a sense, I mean, it behaved really weirdly. So even with hills that were like this specific, or like this low, not as steep, even then the car was already pretty sensitive in its controls and got stuck a lot of the times. We've since then have made another iteration of the car which works a bit better and will probably be a bit more adjusted for the new terrain as well for the third iteration. What you can also see in the car image is a little test track that we've set up. Actually, in the 2 of the 3 images, you can see that test track with the giant stretchy. You could basically jump on there and then right around that track, and you could hit over pine trees and whatever else. Yeah, basically, that's about it. I have to say. Is there anything else you would like to say in regards to old port pizza?
Yeah, I think it did. Like, it's interesting that some things still came back. It's not like we totally start from scratch, but it's really quite iterative. Like the slices, some things have changed, but the concept is still there. So I think that's funny to see.
I don't think we've actually explained the concept of port pizza. I do believe I have some images of the map, though, that we could show instead. Because I don't think we ever explained that port pizza actually looks like a pizza from above. Just like as a side note.
Four Seasons pizza.
Yeah, basically. Because there are four main slices. It's the desert, the Arctic, jungle, and mountain area. And basically each of them just gives us a lot of diversity in how it looks like and how it will feel, and just like makes us explore it way better. Oh, yeah, now I know where it could be. I am currently trying to find an image of the map from above. Ah, there it is. I don't know. Should we? Yeah, we probably should show it. Because this image will also be shown in the dev update number 5, so it's not like we should keep it a secret for too long. Guy in the chair, please tell me when you're ready.
It will just magically appear.
Mhm. Yeah,
That's funny how that works.
I'm also watching the stream in parallel on my phone, but obviously it's delayed, so like fighting off the delay is a bit weird. Okay, it's live. So yeah, basically what you see here are the four main slices. We've got the mountain to the north, the Arctic to the west, and jungle to the east, and southwest is where the desert and also the plaza and fair grounds will be. You've noticed that we spent most of the time in the gameplay preview on the desert side of things. That's because that's kind of the area where most of the action will take place, with the plaza being the most densely populated area, which is why we are focusing on that area the most at the moment. We do have plans for the other areas, but yeah, we aren't super ready showing that just yet. One of the things that you can see in this image is actually the radio station that I've been working on this entire time, which can be seen in the top part of the mountain. That red roof is the radio station.
I think it's also funny, by the way, that the island became more like when there's some like cheese leaking off your pizza. Or it's more handmade, babe. But previously it was really like slice. It's more natural now.
Yeah, basically there's like it used to be super round, like just completely like every single slice was the same size essentially. And it's pretty clear that you can't, like you can, but it's really hard to make it interesting if it all is the same size, because that forces you to work on the Arctic just as much as the desert, just as much as the jungle, just as much as the mountain. And basically, of course, we have to think about like how the slices interact with each other, and also how the pathways lead between each other. And and this is of course the second iteration of the map. And the third one will be even more exciting than this one. But we aren't even close to finishing that one yet. The good thing is that all of the buildings will be taken over from the old one, so we aren't losing any progress, but just gaining a new map.
Yeah.
Better
Cool.
map.
Yeah.
So if any of you know any landscaping professionals, we'd really need help because we're making a new island.
Yeah. We found a spot in the sea and
Help, how do I move dirt? Lego dirt.
Millions of tons of sand.
sand and plastic.
Okay. So I think we are going to end things now. Thank you very much for tuning in. And yeah, I would like to just give everyone an opportunity to say some closing words if they'd like. Jacob, would you like to start?
Oh man, I have to start. I'm not the finisher. That's sad. I mean, I've already said this pretty much, but thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for sticking with us. I know how hard it is when you don't get any updates on something, but we are working. We are working hard. Dev update number 5 rocks. Because I'm editing. Sorry, Floris. And yeah, it's great to see how many people tuned into this and that it's such a lively community that I once thought was niche. And I'd like to thank everyone I've had the pleasure of working with here that for all their hard work. It's insane how many people are still coming together to make this project, to make Port Pizza and eventually Project Island come to life, and it's great.
All right, thank you very much. Next, let's go with Mark.
I'd like to say that I fixed that the thing works now.
Oh joy, oh joy.
Yeah,
I actually
you-
haven't seen anything from it, so I'm looking forward to seeing that soon.
No. Basically, I fixed the one issue. Basically, you walk up to a dig spot, and when you're close enough, the shovel automatically gets equipped. And when it's equipped, you just dig a few times, and then the treasure. I'm sorry, guys, there's no treasure just yet, but the concept is here, and
Maybe the treasure is the friends we made along the way.
What if I want to dig with a pyramid?
I should make that an option as well.
Yeah, you should have like a weapon wheel for it.
Floris, would you like to say something?
Yeah. Well, I think what's shown on the screen right now is a really great metaphor. We're all digging for treasure together. It's a really fun activity. But no, I really enjoyed the stream. I thought it was really fun, and I think we'll have a next one coming up sometime.
Yeah, don't expect them too frequently because, of course, these streams do like
Take some time and planning.
Yeah. They exactly. They take some time and they somehow distract from actual like sitting down and making stuff. But on the
Yeah,
other hand,
sure.
we probably wouldn't have worked at all tonight if it wasn't for the stream. So
You have.
you win some, you lose some. Okay, and what about Hunter, the guy who made this all possible with managing the stream? Would you like to say some words? I promised I wouldn't drag you into this, but here you are now at the end. Yeah, I guess not.
No.
Yeah. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Okay. Hunter is happy to be here. Everything's nice. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching, and yeah, see. Well, we're going to see you sometime soon, very soon.
Wait. How do we end this?
Okay. Let's everyone do one word. We have exactly 4 people talking, so this could work. Let's start with Floris, then Mark, then me, then Jacob.
See?
I couldn't hear that. Can you restart?
Okay, here we go.
I'm so sorry.
See?
You?
Later.
Rick you later.